Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the OFI, the Oceania F1 Invitational, and its grand finale. We head to the Las Vegas Strip. We head to Paradise, Nevada in Texas. It's going to be a special occasion. I personally can't wait. George Morgan here, your commentator. We got a two-car title fight. Joining me in the commentary box as well, we got Lindsay Muddle, whose camera's decided to take a quick detour, but we will bring it back. Don't worry, just bear with us. Lindsay, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I am doing absolutely fantastic, George. It's an honor to be here for the final round of this OFI event, and it comes down to the absolute wire between Gregory Przyzybl and Oscar King. It is going to be an absolutely incredible one tonight, I think, here in the lights of Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a special one, folks. Can't wait for it. Just stick around. All the action is going to come. There's Lindsay now. The camera is back and ready, refreshed. Welcome back, Lindsay. Yes, so we have arrived here at Texas, or certainly arrived here. I say Texas, it's actually Las Vegas, Nevada. Obviously Texas is in essentially a state separate from Nevada. But yeah, we arrive here at the Las Vegas Strip at Paradise, Nevada for what will be, I'm sure, a truly tremendous title fight. We know the behaviors around the Las Vegas Strip. It is fast-paced, it's furious, very little in terms of slow speed. It is high speed all the way around. First and foremost, though, let's take a look at the lineup. It's all kicking off. It's truly phenomenal. We have got a grand lineup for you tonight. We've got Oscar King, Yusuf Goat at Red Bull, Karma, as well as Campbell Adams at Mercedes, Gregory Przyzybl, F1 Ferrari Pro at Ferrari, Al Karudin, Thomas McInnes at McLaren, Potato and Riley McKay at Aston Martin, Checkered Flag in Alpine with MJ Roller, Slammer, who is making a dramatic appearance in the Williams alongside Jack Humphreys, Matt Plevey in the Racing Bulls with Reese Fisher, ACW 132 and Websy in the Sauber, and then Big Manry and Taipan TJ in the Haas. So there we have it. Those are your lineups here this time around. Let's take you through the calendar as well. It's been a long trip since our first round back at Bahrain, where Gregory Przyzybl went on to take victory. He went on to do it twice at Saudi Arabia after that too. Moving on, we took a trip to the Netherlands for round 3. Oscar King reigned supreme around the Dutch circuit. He then arrived in Italy and did exactly the same thing in round 4. Round 5, which was only the small matter of 2 days ago, he achieved the same feat at Mexico, making it a triple dream. And should it go to countback, King could become champion. But tonight, it's a whole new different test as we now move across to the Las Vegas Strip. There's the views from some of the tracks that we've been to before, obviously from Bahrain to Saudi, to then moving to Zandvoort, to then heading across to Monza. After that, then taking a trip to Mexico. Tonight will offer something extremely different, Lindsay.
Yeah, it has been a wide range around the calendar, but I think this could be one of the toughest ones of the lot, because when you do have slow speed, which isn't very often, it is a very, very tricky braking zone. The final chicane comes to mind as well. It's very hard to pull up the car if you get it wrong, and racing into there is going to be absolutely fantastic. But Vegas definitely offering up a very different challenge, and the low downforce nature of the circuit as well could create some differences up and down the grid compared to what we've been seeing in the last few rounds.
Yeah, well, here are the pictures from Las Vegas, Nevada. Truly extraordinary. Come all this way now, arriving for the grand finale here on the 12th of December. Truly phenomenal. Can't wait for this one. Just to show you, or just to illustrate exactly the gravitas that we have with us tonight. 2 points between Gregory Przyzybl and Oscar King after Mexico. Obviously, the point swing was massive coming off the back of Mexico. Gregory Przyzybl has had the championship in the palm of his hand right through, really. But in the last few rounds, we've seen Oscar King really come into his own, Lindsay. The form has been sensational. To go 3 in a row is an incredible feat.
Yeah, especially on such a tough grid with such tough competition. Campbell Adams, Gregory Przyzybyl's championship rival, Riley McKay come to mind as the first people who have seen him racing, and to go 3 in a row in such a hotly contested grid is absolutely phenomenal. He has been the driver to beat the past few rounds, and I think that he's only just getting started as we come into the final race. I think he is going to be absolutely neck and neck with Gregory Przyzybl, and it is going to come down to the wire.
It is going to come down to the wire. And just to also add to that gravitas as well, Riley McKay, who's 3rd in the championship on 71 points. He's 32 off the top. So that just goes to show the gap between Ps1 and Ps3. And you look at the comparisons between Ps1 and Ps3 to the gap between Ps1 and Ps2, which stands at 2 points. You're talking 30 points if you want to take the differentials down. just ridiculous, really, at this stage. So obviously it's between two drivers, but we can take a look as well at the Vegas circuit itself. We've got Karma giving us a track tour.
Hey guys, Karma here with a lap around Vegas. Who else would it be to the last lap of this series, huh? OFI, here we go. So you're flat all the way down through the final corner as you do. Now there's an outside curb here, you're braking just as it starts down to fourth. And you're getting that car nice and rotated in, feather the back on the throttle. As you can see, I've got a bit squiggly on exit, but we're full throttle through turn 2. I don't use enough track there, I should have gone a bit wider, but open that DRS. Now you're looking for the 100 on the left here, and you're trying to turn in a lot earlier than you think you should to cut that inside corner of turn 3. Coming through 4 and 5 now, and you want to be staying tight, then go wide, and as it opens up, downshift down a third. Carry the speed through this section. You don't really want to be getting on the throttle too much as we touch the brake and get the car nicely turned in and back on the throttle. So we're up a little bit here, fully flat all the way to turn 12, and there is a bridge with a shadow, and you're braking there in a straight line down a third. Just nip that inside corner. You can see I gained a bit of time, and you missed that outside wall, and now it's flat on the one of the longest straights on the calendar, if not the longest. I cannot remember. And we're tucking this left side wall, so we avoid all the bumps on that right hand side. Now open that DRS, almost reaching 350 kilometers an hour. Now we're looking for about 110 into the final corner, braking down into third gear, just nipping that inside. You usually want to avoid it, but I get a little bit of a slide, but we stay on the throttle, and we get a nice clean finish to this lap, which I believe we do in a sub 130, which is pretty nice. And you stay nice and tucked towards the end and cross the finish line. Thanks for watching, guys, and let's get racing.
Let's get racing indeed. Big thank you to Karma for supplying us with that track guide as well. Obviously, the Vegas Strip, we all know it as a track that is high speed, and that's an illustration of how fast it truly is. Now, there's a few other drivers we can talk about, Lindsay. Obviously, just down to sheer form, Campbell Adams, arguably, probably the most unfortunate driver out of the bunch. Obviously, we've got to talk about it, haven't we? The Veloce Academy team, where we factor in the likes of Gregory Przyzybl, Oscar King, Riley McKay. We're under no illusions. They are the top 3 in the championship. There has been some teamwork between those 3 in this event. It's been met with a lot of criticism. And obviously, I'd imagine that Campbell Adams has got a lot of fans here tonight that obviously want him to try and break the mold, so to speak.
Yeah, and obviously we saw him begin to break that mold in Mexico when he took pole position with an absolutely blistering lap time. And I think that we are going to see another shot at that tonight. And with the massive straight, anything is possible, as always. But at Vegas, it just increases a lot with the length of that straight. The carnage can be ever so more. And speaking of carnage, qualifying, I know we haven't cut to it yet, but it's got some rain.
Yeah, would you believe it, folks? I had to rub my, well, I was going to rub my eyes briefly, but I have to tell you, folks, rain is coming down at this moment in time. Take a look at this. Extraordinary. So there we have it, dropping from the sky. And here at Vegas, here at Vegas, it's the most unlikely of circumstances have been, brought to the table. So this is going to be a huge test for the drivers to deal with. Slammer, of course, retiring from the session. He will not be, of course, taking part in this. Just take a look at this. We have got, obviously, the counter coming down. 17 minutes or so to go. Already some on-track activity. F1 Ferrari Pro, the first to take to the circuit. But this is a very rare challenge, Lindsay.
Yeah, this is unknown territory, I'm sure, for a lot of the drivers. Obviously, they all throw in some rain practice, I'm sure, but I think it's never really expected. So I think especially being Las Vegas, I don't think a lot of people would have done the same amount of rain practice that they're particularly used to. I saw a couple of drivers do rain practice for Mexico and it never came down. And yet here for the final race, just to add an extra curveball into already the stakes being so high, we have rain here in Las Vegas. Just what are the odds?
Yeah, I mean, the odds, well, you can just look at this. It doesn't tell you enough as to where it's going to go. Now, the rain will drop off, folks. I can tell you that. It is on a sharp decline. We're going from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in terms of rainfall. The humidity then, you can imagine, is going to start rising as well. And F1 Ferrari Pro already now making his way down this next straight. He's going to be very cautious with that front wing of his, but weaving just to try and get some heat into those tyres. Going to be very tricky when you have got water on the circuit to increase that tyre temperature, but still he's going to give his absolute all and best. I suppose the one good thing about this, Lindsay, though, is while you're using these intermediate tyres, you're not burning through the softs.
Yeah, and I think that being able to save some tyres for the later stages, whether it be at the end of this qualifying session if it does go dry, or Q2 or Q3, when any extra sets are very much appreciated. It could be an absolutely monumental factor going later in, especially the end of Q2, maybe drivers having that extra set that maybe they might only normally do 2 runs. It could be an absolute game changer, and I think that that is something that is going to be kept an eye on, and it is going to be such a crucial factor here in this qualifying session.
Yeah, well, we welcome F1 Ferrari Pro, who's been donning the Ferrari now all season long, arrives into this final round on 11 points so far to his name. Just 1 point in behind Yusuf Goat, representing the Red Bull team. We just saw it there, a Racing Bulls car just drift off circuit. Big T-Mac also out on a flying lap as well. It's going to be very hard for these drivers to try and find those apexes, given the fact that the track is like a glacier right now, so slippery. Obviously not a glacier in terms of temperature. You can imagine the temperature itself is still, reasonably high. I mean, looking at it, it's 12 degrees in the air. So whilst obviously it's rising all the time, incidentally, it's rising up from 13 degrees to now 14 already. 12 degrees out on track, so far from optimal. Generally, we'll see the optimal around 28 degrees.
Yeah, and the track will ramp up as we go further and further in, especially when the rain slows down. But right now we are about to see our first time of the session come to fruition as Ferrari Pro heading through the final chicane here at Las Vegas. But this rain definitely throwing a curveball, but Ferrari Pro has kept it pretty still out there. A couple of wobbles, but that's to be expected with the low track grip. But I'm sure it's going to heat up as we go further and further into this qualifying session, not just with the track temp, but also with the times we see.
Yeah, coming across the line at 1:38.978, but he is not by any means the fastest. Potato, incidentally, holding the fastest second sector. Jack Humphreys nailed down the purple first sector with a 28.792. Still waiting for him to cross the line. Potato will be joining him, I'm sure, very shortly as we now watch them head down into the next chicane of sorts. Potato not too far away from the start-finish line, so we'll rejoin him in the Aston Martin as they now fly around the final corner at turn 17. Let's see what he sets. Goes fastest with a 1:38.417. Jack Humphreys won't be too far behind either, and goes fastest himself as well. So a good show there from the Williams driver. Of course, a long-term legend in the oceanic regions on the F1 game, and he's flown the flag for them extremely well indeed. And now back again at the very highest of highs here with 12 minutes and 55 to go here in Q1. Still plenty of activity though out on track. Trent Newton, who recently announced his arrival on the scene here in this championship, also giving certainly providing many great moments as a driver so far this season. Actually qualified into Q3 for our last round at Mexico. And now back again, looking to try and usher in his absolute best here this time, as he nestles in a 1:38.430. Still more activity out on track. Purple first sector for Campbell Adams. He's back.
Yep, so he is pushing on a lap right now in that Mercedes car, and he's pushing towards the straight. This is where we saw in real life Leclerc hit a pothole, but nothing of the sorts for the F1 game here. Campbell Adams heading down the straight in a very slick Las Vegas, a 38.1 to beat, with the next car behind Jack Humphreys being Potato with a 38.4 as the DRS is enabled, and that is the telltale sign that the track is drying up significantly here in Las Vegas as Campbell Adams approaching the chicane now. Is he going to be able to get it right? Braking just before the 100-meter board on the right-hand side, tipped the car in. The track definitely looking more grippy than the first time we looked at a lap here with Ferrari Pro. Where is Campbell Adams going to place himself? You would imagine it is going to be somewhere near the tippity top of that timing table, as now to the line the deploy is used, but it is going to be a 1:36.9, and that is an absolutely blistering lap from Campbell Adams to take provisional pole.
Yeah, great lap on the intermediate tyres here at Vegas as well. Purple, though, in the first sector, going to In this case, I think in this stint anyway, as I'm looking at it, F1 Ferrari Pro coming back with a bang. He's gone purple in the first sector with a 28.437. So let's see what the rest of the lap has in store. That is faster than Campbell Adams by a good near enough 0.2 of a second. So 0.2 at least anyway. And whilst Campbell Adams is at the top of the tree right now, with Yusuf Goat just in behind. The gap between Yusuf Goat and Campbell Adams right now is nearly a whole second. That just goes to show the gravitas there as well. But, you know, F1 Ferrari Pro could have a chance here to really nestle himself up at the top. It's a personal best in the middle sector as well with a 31.620 to go along with the purple in the first sector. Let's see where this time sits. Surely it'll rise him up the order. Goes second fastest. Just not quite enough to break into the 136s to join Campbell Adams, but a great lap nonetheless.
Yeah, that is a good lap there from Ferrari Pro. T-Mac is also coming towards the line, as well as one of the V-Carbs as they are coming into the pit lane. T-Mac now towards the line is going to be a 1:37.7 for T-Mac to go P3. But the question is now, when is the first set of dry tyres going to be present in this session, as the track does look to be quite dried up at this point, so the rain is going to be an absolutely huge factor now that it's dried up, and now the dry tyres will be surely put on all the cars soon enough. Yeah,
just to let you know as well, folks, this is our final giveaway day for the Next Level Racing. If you want to get involved and enter yourself to be in with a chance of winning a Next Level Racing NLR FGT rig giveaway, obviously get involved by using #Decider in the live chat. We have, of course, got Gregory Przyzybl out on our screens, and he's gone purple in the first two sectors as well. So determined to take down Campbell Adams already in the very early stages of Q1. We do, of course, still have plenty of time left, and they'll all be hoping for the track to dry up. Przyzybl, twice a race winner, Bahrain and Saudi. Can he go to the top? Yes! And that is a very fast lap indeed. Very nearly breaking into the 135s. A 136.113. He, of course, did go pole in our very first round of the championship. It was a clean sweep from pole to victory with fastest lap, and Przyzybl back with only 2 points between he and Oscar King in their quest for the title.
Yeah, and that is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I think that qualifying is going to be a very important factor here, despite the fact that we have such good overtaking zones here around Las Vegas. Starting ahead of your championship rival is always a bonus. Trent Newton currently sitting in P2, making an absolute statement, just like he did last round out in Mexico, as you spoke about, George, when he went into Q3 as the new kid on the block, and I think he's going to try and do it again as Al Karudin is heading towards the line now. 1:36.4 P2 on the grid for the moment, but I'm sure with everybody in the pit lane now, this is now when the dry laps will begin, as I think that Munry in the P11 Haas currently is going to be the first car on those soft compound tyres on an outlap.
Yeah, well, just to paint the picture for you, Al Karudin purple in that middle sector, so there's plenty more time to find out there on track, and there will definitely be more when we venture onto the softer compounded tyres. Trent Newton in third as it stands. MJ Roller comes into P4 territory as well, so more movement further back. And MJ Roller still with a chance, obviously, to strike it in position on the rest of this field. Campbell Adams now down in fifth. We've got four cars out on outlaps, including our other title contender, Oscar King, who went 3 in a row. Zandvoort, Monza, and Mexico. He, too, also going from pole to victory back at the Temple of Speed. And it's put him in a position where he sits 2 points in behind Gregory Przyzybl. Przyzybl, the only driver to go and take a podium clean sweep throughout the course of this championship. He has not appeared outside of the podium places. Oscar King outside of the podium places only once, and that was at Jeddah. Despite him having more race wins than Przyzybl, the fact that he dropped points back at Jeddah means that he currently sits 2 behind his fellow Veloce Academy counterpart. So here we go. 7 minutes left to run here in Q1. It's Przyzybl, Al Karudin currently a top 2, but King about to set his first lap of the session.
Yep, so he's not going to want to make any mistakes here in the latter stages of this Q1 session. Any mistake could be absolutely crucial in this championship fight as he rounds the final chicane to set up his lap here of the Las Vegas circuit. His championship rival currently sitting on provisional pole and will be waiting to go out on those dry tyres. So let's see what our P2 in the championship, 2 points behind the leader, Oscar King. What can he do here around the streets of Vegas? Hard on the anchors in towards turn 1, 4th gear tip it across and just keep it nice and tidy. A little bit of a slide there, but nothing that will affect the lap time all too much. Is flat out through the right-hander, opening up the DRS in the Red Bull, and he's absolutely flying along here to head towards the end of the first sector. One more corner to negotiate before you finish the first sector, and it is going to be a 1 minute 26.907 in the first sector split, and that is purple for the Red Bull as he heads through the chicane now, past the sphere, and then tip it across through the left-hander, and there's a lot of understeer there, but he manages to tip it in nicely using all of his battery towards the end of the second sector on the run on to the Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah, heading down now through this midway point of the lap. He's going to break into the chicane once more. He's got another one to take, though, later on, which will have a little bit of a blind segment just afterwards leading through Harmon Avenue, but as he now stretches down this relatively long straight, Big Manry now setting the first benchmark on the soft tyres, but he's not by any means the fastest. At this stage, Oscar King, purple in that middle sector as he rushes down the boulevard. Heading now down into that second chicane. This time needs to try and hook this up as best he can. Can the King reign supreme here in the OFI? He's looking to try and bring the house down this time at the Las Vegas Strip. Let's see what these soft tyres have to offer and break into the 132s. He does. Oscar King with a 132.485. Clear of Big Manry. ACW 132 moves into P2, and we have more further back as well as we watch Websy. He's purple in that middle sector. The track constantly improving here.
Yep, and the track will continue to improve as Riley McKay goes 4/10 behind Oscar King for the P2 places. Now Websy running up towards the line here in the latter stages of this Q1 session. 4.5 minutes to go, and Websy takes provisional pole position with a 32.3. The track is still ramping up, and that is a massive lap there for Websy that is surely going to help him be secure here in Q1.
Yeah, every driver out on soft tyres right now, including this man F1 Ferrari Pro, who set the initial benchmark right at the start of this qualifying session. He's P12 as it stands. He'll still go through, but obviously his time not necessarily representative at this point. Just look at the golfing difference at this stage from where we were at the start, from when the timer was ticking down from 17 minutes. It's a 1:37 that he registered not too long ago. That's an entire, should we say at this point, 5 seconds near enough between Ps 1 and Ps 12. Truly sensational as we now watch them rush down this next back straight. Let's see if there's any other improvements inside. I can tell you that F1 Ferrari Pro has gone purple in the first sector, so the track still very much improving here at this stage. It's at 15 degrees currently on our screens, but he's invalidated. He's gone from purple to invalidation here as F1 Ferrari Pro, so he will not register a time here in this lap.
Yep, and that is a really huge mistake here in the grand scheme of his qualifying session. Ferrari Pro is going to be disappointed with that one, but he has probably one more shot to try and get it right here in this qualifying one session, and he's going to have to get it right as P12 at the moment is not going to be enough, especially with the dry tyre runs still yet to come. It is going to be a crucial end to this qualifying session as he does pull into the pit lane, and that is going to hurt the confidence.
Yeah, it certainly will. F1 Ferrari Pro coming into the pit. Still plenty of cars, though, out in the pit lane as it stands. Those that you wouldn't necessarily expect to feature in the bottom 5. Jack Humphreys in P16. We've got Karma F1, who's now making his way out on track. We're just watching him now on our screens. Plevs down in 18th. The two RBs, in fact, currently nestled together. Both Racing Bulls. That's Plevs and Reese Fisher, who's at the tail of the order now. You would not be surprised to see Reese Fisher venture into Q3 whatsoever. A consistent performer, despite not necessarily tasting podium success. You know, he's been close on many occasions. In fact, so close that back at Jeddah he finished P4, but will always feature, no doubt, I'm sure, in the fray when trying to break into Q3. So let's wait and see whether he can achieve that. Currently sits 19th. There's going to be a dramatic swing in terms of where the places are currently sat. MJ Roller out on track at the moment, and he's gone purple in the first 2 sectors, so the track definitely starting to ramp up. Let's see whether he can topple Websy and take control up at the top. Yes, and that's our first 131 of the session. That's a 131.371. Our theoretical best time has dropped further and further downwards. So 1:31.153 based on the timing tower is the theoretical best time. So more to find and plenty more, that's for sure, as more and more cars venture out onto the track. It's a busy circuit, only one car in the pits, and that's Slammer's retired Williams.
Yeah, that, and also Yusuf, who has retired into in the pit lane early on in this session as the lap times continue to drop. Maybe a little bit early to call, but we'll see how everybody can hook up their final laps in this qualifying session, as currently I have my eyes plastered on Reese Fisher in the V-Carb as he is getting ready to begin a lap here in Las Vegas, and it is going to be one shot for him to move up into that Q2 place. He doesn't have a lap set at the moment, so it's all going to come down to this for Reese Fisher, and I'm sure he'll find himself further up this timing tower when he crosses the line in about 1:30 time, but let's see how he can negotiate this Las Vegas circuit.
Yeah, making his way through the first sector. We'll wait and see what he brings. We've got plenty of cars that are out on fast laps right now, and just keeping my eyes peeled across the board. Obviously, Jack Humphreys currently sat in the bottom 5, the last driver you'd expect to be there. Big T-Mac, though, has also improved. He's found purple in the middle sector. He comes up towards the line, and he moves into the 130s. So do not be surprised if we venture into the 120s, that's for sure, because the way it's going, this track is increasingly improving now, and we're starting to drop off. In terms of rain, it's started to dry up in the skies regardless. The rain is long gone, but the moisture in the air in itself has taken a massive decline now, so the track is only going to get warmer. We're now up to 18 degrees in the air. The track temperature still sat at 15, but not too far from optimal, it has to be said. And Jack Humphreys, speaking of optimal, is optimal right now in terms of a lap time, and he's 6.2 up based on his previous best. He's purple in that middle sector, though his purple second sector split is decent. There's more to find because Al Karudin has taken it away from him. Here comes Humphreys now around the final corner at turn 17, and that's the 130.3 mark hit, and now there's surely more to come. Przyzybl on the attack, as is Al Karudin, who's purple in that middle sector.
Yep, and the lap times will continue to fall, and everybody now on their final laps. Al Karudin coming towards the line now in the McLaren car, and he is absolutely flying around the track at this point. What is the lap time going to be for Al Karudin as he heads across the line now? A 1:30.4, not quite provisional pole position, but Gregory Przyzybl is 5 seconds up on his previous best. Oscar King takes provisional pole with a 30.1 in Q1. Here comes Gregory Przyzybl, 29.9 there to take the pole position in Q1.
Yeah, brilliant lap there from Gregory Przyzybl. The two championship contenders sit 1 and 2, and Gregory Przyzybl, as Riley McKay moves into second fastest. Amazing. We're now down to the bitter stages. Checkered flag is out. Big T-Mac remains 6th fastest. MJ Roller, Trent Newton, Yusuf Goat, Campbell Adams out of qualifying. That's a massive shock here at this stage. Gregory Przyzybl, the only driver in the 129s, with Riley McKay in second, Oscar King in P3. The two championship contenders sitting in the top 3 of the Q1 provisional standings here so far at the end of Q1. Truly remarkable. And Jack Humphreys sat in 4th as well. Al Karudin, all the names that we have seen feature at the top in prior OFI seasons are now starting to filter in at the highest point of this timing tower. Truly phenomenal, illustrious. What a performance from Gregory Przyzybl. As I said, if this is the tone he is going to set, could he become twice a pole sitter this campaign? We'll wait and see, and how fitting it would be to go from being the fastest in qualifying at Bahrain to becoming the fastest at the end of the season, from beginning to finish being the fastest driver. Truly remarkable. 71 thousandths between Riley McKay and Gregory Przyzybl. That is the gap, but Przyzybl is fastest. Oscar King in 3rd, Jack Humphreys 4th, Al Karudin 5th, Big T-Mac in 6th, we've got Potato in 7th, ACW 132 in 8th, Websy in 9th, F1 Ferrari Pro 10th. Let's take a look at the bottom 10. We've got Big Manry in 11th, Reese Fisher 12th, Plevs 13th, AMS Checkered 14th, Karma F1 in 15th, and we lose MJ Roller, Trent Newton, Yusuf Goat. Massive shock seeing Campbell Adams out, and of course Slammer not taking part. So there we have it, folks. Remarkable, it has to be said. What a qualifying session. More to come of that, I am sure. But yes, the dramatics were certainly put in place with the rain coming down at the start, Lindsay. We then saw the track changing so much through the course of that qualifying phase.
Yeah, and as you said, Campbell Adams getting knocked out is an absolutely huge shock, just as I was expecting him to nearly top the timing boards later on in this qualifying session. He doesn't even make it in to the second part. That's an absolutely huge shock here in this qualifying session, but what a statement Gregory Przyzybl made, being the only driver in the 29s, and as he said, if that's the tone that's been set, that is going to be very interesting going into both the ending stages of this qualifying and also for the race. But Oscar King, third place, hot on his heels still, and that is certainly not over.
And yet another 1, 2, 3 for Veloce Academy as well, Lindsay. Obviously, they're still doing the business, once more in the final round of the championship. Of course, we spoke about the pace of Gregory Przyzybl back at Bahrain. He's once again shown it. We've now seen it again with, obviously, here at the top with Riley McKay in second, Oscar King, of course, in third too. So once more, it's the VA club that currently sits at the top of the tree. Q2 now underway. Oscar King now back out onto the track, as well as many of the others. Jack Humphreys as well out on circuit. Gregory Przyzybl out early this time as well, so no concerns this time in terms of waiting for the weather to die down. They can jump straight out. It's dry straight away. The air temperature, though, still a little bit lax. We're currently seeing it around 8 degrees this time, so it's actually dropped a bit. Quite strange to think of Las Vegas being 8 degrees in terms of air temperature, Lindsay.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very, very cold out there, but we saw that, and I think in the real-life Grand Prix, in the first one in 2023, it was very, very cold being nighttime, and that was definitely something that the drivers had to adjust to, and I think we're seeing the same here tonight in the OFI event, and it is very cold, but it's not super duper slippery, but I'd imagine it's a bit off optimum as we spoke about earlier on, and that just creates an extra challenge for the drivers to overcome here, and I think that is what makes this qualifying session even more exciting, as if it wasn't already.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a thrill ride, folks, and you are here for it. Welcome to the OFI if you've just joined us as well. We really appreciate having you with us for the grand finale for Event 6. It's going to be truly remarkable. Let us know, obviously, who you're supporting here in the live chat. That's exactly what it's for. And don't forget to get involved in the Next Level Racing giveaway. #Decider to enter. Remember, you can enter once per round, so 6 entries in total. We will announce the winner before the end of the broadcast. So get involved. #Decider to be in with a chance of winning a Next Level Racing rig. So yeah, here we go. It's race, well, not race time just yet, but it is fast lap time. We're now going to be watching the drivers make their way out. Here we go. Oscar King making his way around the circuit, but Jack Humphreys purple in the first sector, answering the call, obviously looking to try and bring himself to the top this time here in Q2. He did what was necessary in Q1. They won't have to worry about shooting out for pole until Q3, but this is all about staying clear of that bottom 5. They don't want to be eliminated. This is a very crucial stage in qualifying here, Lindsay.
Yeah, and I think that just getting through and being safe but not so safe about it is very crucial, because you've got to find that fine line between not pushing too hard and invalidating a final lap time or just any good lap time here in this Q2 session and getting knocked out, but also finding that limit at the exact same time. It is a very tricky challenge for the drivers to balance, but I think that Oscar King is right on that line right now in his first lap of this qualifying session, and he is heading down the strip here to finish his first lap time. But also we have Plevs and Jack Humphreys heading towards the line. That's a 31.3 from Plevs. Jack Humphreys tops that with a 30.6. So now let's see what Oscar King can do as he's running up towards the line. Now Riley McKay does a 30.6 to take provisional pole. Oscar King 30.4 topping the timing, and what a way to begin this Q2 session.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is this. Gregory Przyzybl purple in the first 2 sectors, 25.631 in sector 1, 28.880 coming out of sector 2, and now rushing round out of Harmon Avenue, goes fastest with the first 129 of the session, and that is clear by over half a second from teammate at Veloce Academy, Oscar King. It's Veloce Academy 1, 2, and 3 once more. Can anyone break that trend? You've got Jack Humphreys down in 4th place. Still, we haven't seen laps from Al Karudin just yet. Obviously, no Campbell Adams this time. He's, of course, been up against the brunt of the Veloce Academy over the last few rounds. We saw them come together back at Monza. And once more, they came together in the opening stint back at Mexico. Obviously, the strategy did not work out well for Campbell Adams. Brought him to a thunderous halt towards the bitter stages of that race. but he'll need to pull all the strategies out the bag ahead of the race that we've got coming up later on. It's Przyzybl who leads. 10 minutes now on the clock as we come to the latter stages of Q2. 1:29.901 to answer. Checkered currently making his way around the circuit at this stage. I'm going to register his first lap. Green in the first two, as you'd expect. 25.825 in Sector 1 and a 29.064 in Sector 2. Very soon here around the final corner.
Yep, so he's heading towards the final chicane now. It'll be interesting to see what lap time he can set, but what a statement that was from Przyzybl, 29.901. As we've stated, that is an absolute belter of a lap time, and I'm sure there is more time in that. If that was just his first run, the grip will continue to come towards him as checkered flag P3 with a 30.5, and that is a nice lap time there for the Alpine. And there is 9 minutes to go here in this qualifying session. I think it's still anybody's game. Still some heavy hitters yet to set lap times. Reese Fisher going out a bit later once again. Same with Potato and Al Karuden, who is very high up in Websy as well in Q1. They are all looking to set their lap times in now. They're all lapping around this Las Vegas circuit, preparing themselves mentally to set a lap time around this circuit in Q2. And what a challenge it is around this circuit. And going back to Campbell Adams as well, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities at this track. So I think of all of the tracks to get knocked out at Q1, it's still not optimal, but it's got to be this one. You have a massive straight, plenty of overtaking zones. If there is one track on this calendar to pick, it has to be this one to be tumbling down the back of the order in qualifying.
Yeah, things can go from 0 to 100 in a split second around this circuit. We saw it in the F1 Sim Racing World Championship where drivers were going almost 6 wide at one point. PSGL, we've witnessed the same as well in the top flights of league racing, with drivers competing from across the globe, and a lot of them going 4, 5, 6 wide as well at certain points on this circuit. Just remarkable, it has to be said, and I'm sure we'll see nothing no less different here as well, I'm sure, as we now watch as Karma F1 makes his way around the circuit. Al Karuden on a flying lap 2. Now remember, this is a driver we saw at the top flight as well of the OFI in seasons prior. Now marking a return this time with his very first lap of this Q2 session. And he's green in the first sector, obviously as you'd expect with a 25.935. Now in terms of where that time sits against the purple first sector that Gregory Przyzybl put in, it's currently looking around about 0.3 of a second between them. But he's still very much on trend with Oscar King, who was also in the 125.9.2.
Yep, and the lap times will continue to fall as Oscar King, speaking of, has gone out on an out lap, so he is buckling up for a final, well, maybe not a final run. He does have an extra set, but another run in this Q2 session is towards the line. Now, Al Karuden, what's he going to set? It's going to be a 1 minute 30.5 second row in Q2, provisionally P4 for the McLaren, and that is not a bad lap at all, and he's probably going to be pretty happy with that one, I'd have to say. And there's a lot of drivers still on laps. Another driver to the line, Websy, once again putting himself near the sharp end of this order. He is clearly getting along with Las Vegas as Reese Fisher, 30.1, only 0.2 off Gregory Przyzybl. That's an amazing lap there for Reese, and I'm sure he is going to be absolutely delighted with that one.
Yeah, and Big Manry as well, registering a 25.873, which is only approximately 700 separating he and Reese Fisher's opening sector time. But Reese Fisher taking the purple second sector on that last lap that brought him that 130.105 to the darts, but still no one can touch Gregory Przyzybl at the top of the order. Oscar King in fourth. Potato was in P5. Big Manry's taking it off him with his own 130.462. Now that is approximately 9 thousandths between he and Oscar King at this point. 5 minutes and 55 to go. We're now reaching the tipping point. This is where we'll see those drivers coming out for their final flying laps. Let's see if those sector times improve. Plevs also on an improvement. He is 4 to 5 tenths up, over 4.5 tenths up already on his previous best. He did previously set a 131.349 on this lap. It's a 25.930 in Sector 1. Sector 2, a 29.349. Coming out of Harmon Avenue around turn 17. Let's see what Plebs can do. Cannot break out of the bottom 5. 12th at best.
Yep, and he's going to have to find more time if he wants to make it through, and he has time for one more to go in this qualifying, so it is going to be absolutely crucial for him to ramp it up just that little bit more as Oscar King 4/10 up on his previous best lap time in the Red Bull. He is absolutely flying down the Las Vegas Boulevard, and he is in Sector 3, pushing along. He has one more chicane to negotiate. This would currently put him on a 30.0, still a 10th off Przyzybl, but he has one more sector to find some lap time here in Q2. Riley McKay, 29.763 to take provisional pole off of his VA counterpart. And now, what can Oscar King say about all of this? He's running towards the line. Will he put himself on the top? It's going to be a 1 minute 29.8. Takes P2, but not enough to get past Riley McKay.
No, Riley McKay now to the top with a purple second and third sector. 28.8 in Sector 2, 35.1 in Sector 3. Best lap of a 129.763 with only 2 laps fielded on 2 separate compound of tyres. Of course, not scared to use the rubber, that's for sure. Oscar King also using 2 sets of tyres at this time, and we have got still more activity to come. F1 Ferrari Pro currently sat on the elimination window. Currently, as things stand, he will be eliminated from qualifying, but if he can break into that top 10, then he will be safe. But remember, we still have time to come. We've got 3 minutes and 15 left here right now. Jack Humphreys also in the drop zone. He's on an out lap too, so that's 2 drivers now out on track looking to break out of that drop zone. Plevs currently sat in the pits as his ACW. Karma also not yet even fielding a lap, which puts huge amounts of pressure on him, Lindsay, because if you don't have that lap to sort of work off, it doesn't really give you an indicator as to where you stack up in terms of the delta.
Yeah, and we saw it in Q1 as well. I mean, Campbell Adams did have a lap time, but it was from the wet, so he wasn't sure how he was stacking up, and then he made a mistake in the final run, and that is what can happen when you don't have a quick enough lap time on the board, as Jack Humphreys currently a 10th up. But yeah, not having a lap time on the board is very, very stressful for any driver out there, especially in a full qualifying session, Q1, Q2, Q3, where we have a drop zone. It is absolutely crucial to find yourself with a lap time on the board, especially with 3 minutes to go. So I wonder when we will see Karma out on the racing surface, because he is going to have quite a challenge ahead of him. As there we go, he is on an out lap now, but he has a lot of pressure on him to deliver in the final run, as Jack Humphreys nearly 4/10 up.
Yeah, and he's purple in the second sector with a 28.819, so going faster at this stage than Riley McKay at the very top of the tree. So this is Humphrey's chance now to register himself fastest. That first sector doesn't look too bad either. It's a 25.869. We've seen plenty of drivers in the 25.9s. Well, Jack Humphreys going slightly against the grain, going into the 25.8. So let's see what this third sector has to offer. Coming out of Harmon Avenue himself, a legend in the Oceanic region, enough for 4th fastest. That will be enough for safety, you'd fathom. Still not enough, though, to break into the 129s, but I think 130.0s will be enough.
Yep. And that is a very nice lap time, but the drop zone becoming more apparently clear as we continue on in this qualifying session. And yeah, as you say, I think Jack Humphreys is safe, but everybody on outlap, so we'll have to see how that ends up.
Yeah, obviously plenty of activity out on track now. F1 Ferrari Pro sat in the pits will not be coming out just yet. Now, whether that is a decisive measure to sort of turn around and say, listen, I've got nothing more to offer, I'm not quite sure, but Oscar King retires from the session, so the top 2 have ultimately decided that enough is enough. Jack Humphreys obviously just fielding his lap time. We're watching him on our screens as it stands. Gregory Przyzybl also out on an out lap. He's not the only one. Reese Fisher, Websy, Big Manry, Potato, Checkered, Al-Karudin. That rounds off your top 10 even. We then have in the drop zone Big T-Mac, F1 Ferrari Pro, Plevs, ACW and Karma. Now remember, Karma registering his laps without a banker to offer. So he'll have nothing, as we said before, to measure the delta against. So this is very much a blind lap here from Karma.
Yeah, and he's going to just be pushing as hard as he can and just hope that it is going to stick himself into the top 10. But he's probably got to go a little bit further than that, because people will improve in the final runs. He's probably going to be wanting more at a top 6 sort of area if he wants to try and get through without having to worry about those cars behind improving, as currently he is heading through Sector 2, and he is looking quite clean through the first sector. Not sure what the split was, but he's heading towards the end of the second and towards the Las Vegas Boulevard soon enough. So heavy on the anchors for the Mercedes. Get it tipped through third gear and battery enabled. It's a 54.998 second sector split. So let's see what he can do as he heads down the straight. DRS will be open now, or nearly now. There we go, on the Mercedes. And he is going to be under a lot of pressure to get this final chicane right. It is going to be crucial for him to get it right. He doesn't have a lap time on the board, so let's see where he stacks up against the rest of this field as he heads through Harmon Avenue. Is it going to be a spot in the top 10? Will it be a spot into Q3? We won't be sure until the qualifying session's done, but it's only P13, so we know for sure now he is not going to be proceeding into Q3.
Yeah, Gregory Przyzybl, though, announcing himself once again. He is purple in Sector 1 and Sector 2. The Ferrari starting to light up here now as it bursts down the long straight. Rushing now down through Harmon Avenue himself. Checkered flags have come out. Big T-Mac has been eliminated. F1 Ferrari Pro, Karma. That leaves only Plebs and ACW to lift themselves out of the drop zone. There is personal improvements for Plebs. Not, though, for ACW right at the tail end of the field. Here comes Przyzybl, though. 129.9 already enlisted. Can he go to the top? Yes! A 129.528. And that is a time that's over 0.2 faster than Riley McKay in second place. The championship leader has spoken, flexing his muscles before we move into Q3. And the times are rushing in. And Al Karudin has just made it through in P10. Big T-Mac is out. F1 Ferrari Pro, Karma F1, Plebs, ACW, they're all out of the session, so no changes. All those in the drop zone prior to those final laps will remain there, and they are out of qualifying as we head into Q3. Let's take a look at the results. Gregory Przyzybl fastest here in this session with that last clutch lap to bring an end to the session, and that is, like I said, just over 2.25 tenths between the front two. Riley McKay and Oscar King make it a VA 1, 2 and 3 for Veloce Academy. Fourth for Jack Humphreys, Reese Fisher 5th, Big Manry in 6th, Potato 7th, Checkered in 8th, Websy 9th, 10th place for Al Karudin, and we lose Big T-Mac, F1 Ferrari Pro, Karma F1, Plebs and ACW 1-3-2. So there we have it, the action aplenty once more. A clutch lap from Gregory Przyzybl taking the opening 2 sector purple splits. Did not get the third though, that still went to Riley McKay, but a crucial lap, I think, really more to send a message, because it wasn't as if he was in dire straits, Lindsay.
No, he was not under any pressure at all about getting knocked out there in that final stage of that Q2 session, and he did the same in Q1 with a statement at the end, and he made it work, and he's done it again and cleared his teammate for P2. 2.25 tenths is an absolutely huge gap, especially at that sharp end of the field. That is like a century of lap time pretty much, and in Q3 if he can pull another similar gap, that would be mighty impressive. But I'm sure when the gloves are now fully off and the laps will be fully pushed, it is going to be quite a lot closer than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We're now watching Jack Humphreys make his way out on an out lap and looking to obviously register his first lap of the final session. Don't forget, folks, we've been reminding you right through the course of this broadcast so far, but I will remind you again, if you want to get involved in the Next Level Racing giveaway, of course, like I said before, we've been allowing you guys to enter once per race per round through the course of this championship here in Event 6 of the OFI. Well, once again, you can enter the competition once again to be in with a chance of winning a fantastic Next Level Racing product. Hashtag Decider is the code you've got to enter in chat in order to enter. And remember, Decider has to be all capitals, so be sure to do that to enter the NLR FGT giveaway. Get involved. We will be announcing the winner after the race, just before the end of the broadcast here tonight, so be sure to get involved. And prior to that, we will, of course, have plenty of decent racing for you guys to tune into as well. The big question is, who's going to take pole position? We want to hear from you guys in the live chat on this as well. Let us know who is going to achieve pole ahead of the final race here in the OFI Event 6. Let us know. We're here in Vegas at the Strip. Paradise, Nevada. It's paradise indeed. Lindsay, where's it going?
Yeah, I think that it is going to go Gregory Przyzybyl's way with a couple of mistakes in the last few rounds that have cost him the race wins. That has allowed Oscar to creep up on him, and he's not going to want anything of the sort here when it really comes down to it. As we already know, 2 points between them. Whoever finishes ahead will pretty much be guaranteed to win this championship tonight in OFI. So any sort of advantage, especially in qualifying, is going to be absolutely crucial here in Vegas. So that is what he's going to be hunting for.
Well, Gregory Przyzybl has got a lot of fans in the live chat too. We've got Kalki 4321 is saying Greggy P. Greggy P will get pole, says Loading Rifle. We have got Pebbles as well, saying Lord Mahavir. I'm guessing that means Przyzybl as well. We've got Oscar King from Arcade Gaming 55. So he's registered his opinion as to who's going to take pole this time. Let's wait and see. Keep us posted, folks, as to who you think's going to land a blow on this one. Gregory Przyzybl, though, flexing his muscles in the first 2 qualifying sessions so far. Let's see if he can do the same this time. His best time that we have seen, or the best time we have seen in qualifying as a whole so far here in Vegas, a 1:29.528. But Jack Humphreys now making his way around the circuit, 25.7 in the first sector. Very fast in comparison to what we saw in Q2. Remember, we were in the 25.9s, 25.8s for that session. We're now in the 25.7s proper with 28.924 in that middle sector. So no question, fresh rubber on the chassis of Jack Humphreys Williams as he now flies through the final corner at turn 17, coming up towards the line, and that's a 1:30.069. Not the 1:29s that we were starting to see at the end of our last session of qualifying, but still a reasonable lap to kick things off nonetheless.
Yep, and that is a quick time from Humphreys, and I'm sure he has more in it as well as the track will ramp up at the end of Q3. Checker did begin a lap, but he is going to come into the pit lane, but all the outlaps are kicking off at the moment, and I believe the next driver to start a lap will be Reese Fisher. We've seen him punching further towards the front, but I think he's actually gotten damage on his outlap. Yep, that is a missing left side of his front wing, so that is unfortunate there for Reese Fisher. So he's going to have to wait to set a time in qualifying, and that has put a lot of pressure on him.
It certainly has. Well, we're going to ride on board here with the fastest driver in Q1, Q2, and he'll be hoping Q3 as well. Gregory Przyzybl, your current championship leader, sat on 103 points coming into tonight's race. 2 points clear of teammates at Veloce Academy, Oscar King. And still more of you bringing your opinions into the live chat. Many of you shouting for some different names. We've got Websy there. We've got Checkered will get pole. I'm afraid he will, currently sat P3. Will not be achieving it from P3, and obviously he'll need to complete a lap in order to do so. But you never know. We might yet see it. Greg for second says Millar, because he's apparently mid. Interesting. But yeah, we're now watching Gregory Przyzybl make his way down the next segment of this circuit. Purple in the first sector with a 25.615. And he's now rushing out of turn 11 in towards turn 12 now. Very shortly venturing into sector 3 as he puts his foot down. Harmon Avenue will come up, but first and foremost, it's the Las Vegas Boulevard. That is where he is headed right now. He'll open up as well that rear wing, I'm sure, as he looks to plummet down through towards the next chicane on the circuit. Turns 11, 12 and 13, of course, have now been well and truly completed. The next turns are 14, 15 and 16, where you'll meet the end of the straight. Speed trap lit up as we now watch as Gregory Przyzybl flies down Harmon Avenue and then around turn 17 to bring a close to his initial lap here in Q3. He's purple in the first sector, not in the second sector, but it's enough to break into the 129s, and doesn't he just do it in style? A 129.556 makes him fastest here in this point in qualifying in Q3. Al Karud in with a 1:30.177, just goes behind Jack Humphreys. Potato in P4 as well. Riley McKay coming through the final echelons on this lap, and he is showing 25.7 in sector 1. That is ruthlessly quick and right in the wheel marks of Gregory Przyzybl, just outside by a tenth. But here he comes around the final corner. Riley McKay second fastest, and 2/10 near enough from Przyzybl in first.
Yep, so 2 of the VA drivers have now set a lap time. It is now Oscar King's turn as he is on Harmon Avenue, and the run towards the line begins now for Oscar King. He has been blisteringly fast in his first opening lap of this Q3 session, and what is he going to do? 29.8. Not as fast as his 2 counterparts, but not too far off of Riley McKay, but he has a little bit more to find if he wants to catch Gregory Przyzybl, but still a P3 place nonetheless, and that is a great way to begin your qualifying session for Oscar King.
Well, that is Gregory Przyzybl at the top of the screen, folks. Our 2 championship contenders once more 1 and 3 as they were at the end of Q1. Przyzybl answering the call. Once again, they're split by Riley McKay, who actually comes into this grand finale 71 points against his name, 32 away from Przyzybl at the top of the championship. McKay, incidentally, just seems to me that his championship's been thwarted with time penalties that sort of get ushered in at critical moments through the course of this race. And I spoke to him about it after the Mexico race, and he of course alluded to that as letting himself down in that sense. Obviously, I think was hoping for a little more. His championship effectively went a little bit sideways. I would say the major point was Zandvoort, where he managed to achieve pole position but finished in 4th place, and his 2 Veloce Academy counterparts finished above him, P1 and P3. Of course, that day was where Oscar King would take his first victory of the campaign. And also not forgetting Campbell Adams, who managed to achieve 2nd place and the fastest lap at the end of that round. So there we have it. Riley McKay, maybe one for the future, but I think in this case he'll take a lot of learnings after a few issues have come into his races, and I'm sure he'll be looking to address those track limits infringements as well as time goes on. But truly remarkable, 3 minutes and 30 near enough to go. Gregory Przyzybl, Riley McKay, Oscar King, that's your top 3. Jack Humphrey still waiting to break into the 120s, but he's king of the 130s, at least as it stands. Al Karud in P5. No time set yet from Reese Fisher, who very much like we saw earlier on in our previous session, of course we saw a driver there in that case, Karma it was in that case, not set a lap at all until his very last one. Of course, had no banker to work with. Reese Fisher will have no banker to work with here in the tail end of Q3.
Yeah, and we saw how that ended up for Karma. He didn't get through. Obviously, Reese doesn't have to worry about getting knocked out, but he does have to worry about being at the back end of the top 10, no matter what it's going to be. A reasonable starting position on the grid, but he doesn't want to be starting right in that mid-pack. That is where it's most likely that you can get damage. So he's going to want to put himself further up that pointy end of the grid, and it is going to be crucial for him to do so. And unlike Q2, he might not know where he stacks up with the Q3 grip, but it's Reese Fisher at the end of the day. We know that he's going to stack up somewhere in that top 6.
Yeah, well, the cars are making their way out for the final runs here in qualifying, folks. Big thank you to each and every single one of you for joining us here for the final round of the championship, as now Chequered comes straight away back into the pits. Jack Humphrey's not wasting any time. He heads straight out on his out lap. We do appreciate every single one of you. Be sure to check out the OFI by following, first and foremost, this Twitch channel. If you haven't done so already, why haven't you? Please do it. We really do appreciate your support. And don't forget as well to check out the OFI on Twitter as well. Of course, the Oceania F1 Invitational active on social media, on Twitter. You can get involved and also get updates as to when the next events are certainly going to be brought to the forefront. And not forgetting, there is a Discord server, so if you do want to get involved in all the action, please do. But from me, George Morgan, of course, Lindsay, we're going to take you through the final stages of qualifying now to decide who's going to take pole. Let us know in the live chat who it's going to be. Lindsay, your final thoughts, please.
I think that obviously Gregory Przyzybl being 2/10 out in front, looking likely to take pole, but his VA counterparts are lightning fast, but everybody except for Humphreys, and I believe that is Potato, who are the drivers who are well ahead of the queue, and they are getting ready to begin their final laps here in Las Vegas. Everybody else is going to have to space out at somewhere down the straight, but Jack Humphreys is going to kick off the final laps of Q3 campaign.
Yeah, coming across the start-finish line, and he will get his lap underway and in full swing. Rounding turn 1, he'll then fly through turns 2 and turns 3 as well alike. And now along straight where DRS will open up for him. Flat out, heading down this long straight, 8th gear to the max. Foot planted to the floor, now into the braking zone as he ventures in towards the next right at turn 5, and then in towards sector 2, and already up on his time by 0.03 of a second as it stands, and that time places him in the 25.7s right now, so he remains in, should we say, a fast proximity. Coming in now out of turn 9, down through towards the sweeping turn 10. Turn 11 then will send him down through towards turn 12, where very shortly he'll bring an end to sector 2. Just dipping now into the chicane, and now down towards this very long straight at the Las Vegas Boulevard. He'll meet turn 13, and very soon DRS will open up for Jack Humphreys. He's past the detection point. Next up comes the rear flap opening point as he now crosses it this time and bursts down towards the chicane, where he'll meet turns 14, 15 and 16 as he now hustles downwards in the Williams. Jack Humphreys, a long legacy he leaves in Aussie racing. He's flying down Harman Avenue looking to bring his absolute best. He's green in both sectors, personal bests alike. P3 for Jack Humphreys as he looks to kick things off. But Al Karudin is coming back with a bang. Purple in the second sector, Lindsay. Przyzybl has just taken the purple first sector split.
Yeah, Przyzybl is 500ths up on his previous best. That would nearly get him into that 0.4 area. Riley McKay and Oscar King also improving behind. So all of the VA drivers looking to improve here. And this is for the pole position here. This is the end of Q3. This is where it really counts. All mistakes are swept clean if you made it through into this session. It is just going to be what lap you can hook up now. Gregory Przyzybl will be the first one to the line of the VA drivers. What is his final lap time going to be? It's going to be a 29.544. What has Oscar King got? It's a 29.517 to take provisional pole.
Yeah, Oscar King responding straight away to Gregory Przyzybl, and I must say, what theatrics. The front two championship contenders sharing the front row. Can Riley McKay split them? Yes! Oh my goodness! Riley McKay, where did that come from? Has not scored a pole position since all the way back at Zandvoort. Well, at the very last-ditch attempt, he has stolen it away from Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl. 700ths faster than King and Przyzybl at the very death. A 129.447. The Aston Martin ascends, and King now reduced to second place, but still on the front row. Gregory Przyzybl, fellow championship contender, on the second row in third. Jack Humphreys in fourth. Reese Fisher fifth. Al Karudin, Websy, Big Manry, Potato retired at the very end, and so did Checkered. We'll be right back, folks, after this commercial break. Well, welcome back, folks, to the OFI. We've already had drama aplenty through the course of this championship. We've just witnessed lots of it right at the bitter stages of Q3 in qualifying. George Morgan here, back in commentary for you, alongside with me, Lindsay Muddle. Lindsay, what an ending to the final session. I mean, we all thought it was going to be between Przyzybl and Oscar King. We've alluded to the challenges that has been faced, obviously, by the likes of Riley McKay. But when he needed it most, Lindsay, right at the very end, the deaths of qualifying, the last car to cross the line, he stole that top spot by 700ths of a second. That is huge.
Yeah, it was an absolutely amazing lap. I was following his sector splits and I saw that he was on to do it, but I didn't quite believe my eyes, and then he crossed the line. It flashed up for a moment on the screen and I saw it confirmed on the timing charts. What an absolute lap there from Riley McKay, and I don't think anybody saw it coming instead of Przyzybl or King, and that is definitely a curveball for those two on the grid tonight. That is absolutely huge.
Yeah, it is massive. And just a little reminder, folks, as to the lineups we have racing this evening. I mean, it's been a thrill ride from start to finish. The championship, of course, in the hands of two drivers, Oscar King being one of them. Sat second in the standings, 2 points away from Gregory Przyzybl, but the two of them will dice it out together around Vegas. The question is, who will hit the jackpot? Red Bull is Oscar King and Yusuf Goat. Karma and Campbell Adams for Mercedes. Campbell's got it all to do ahead of the race here tonight. Gregory Przyzybl, championship leader, 2 wins against his name. Not quite as good, though, as the 3 that Oscar King has got under his belt. though the only race winners this season have been between those two. We have got F1 Ferrari Pro alongside Przyzybl at Ferrari, of course, Al Karudin and Thomas McInnes at McLaren, Potato, Riley McKay, Aston Martin, Checkered Flag and MJ Roller at Alpine, Slammer and Jack Humphries, of course, Slammer retiring at the very start. We won't see, I don't think, any theatrics from our resident boss man at OFI, but Jack Humphries right in the sharp end and has potential to really bring his best. We also have Matt Plevey, Reese Fisher at Racing Bulls, ACW and Websy, Big Manry and Taipan at Haas as well. Those are your runners in this upcoming race that we do, of course, have. Let's move across to the calendar and see where we've been through the course of this championship in Event 6 in the OFI. Round 1 back on the 8th of October. We kicked things off at Bahrain. Gregory Przyzybl went on to go fastest in qualifying. He went, of course, and won the race and also took the fastest lap in the process too. We then moved on the 10th of October to round 2 at Saudi Arabia. Went to the streets of Jeddah, where Gregory Przyzybl would manage to marshal out another front row start after qualifying in second. He managed to achieve a victory at the end of that one to make it 2 from 2. Well, it kind of changed a little bit, didn't it? We headed to Zandvoort, home of the Dutch Grand Prix, and that was where Oscar King took his first of 3 victories in round 3 on November 12th. We then headed to Italy at Monza on November 14th for round 4. Oscar King went fastest. Pretty much, he did go fastest. In fact, he took pole position, then went on to victory, almost replicating what Przyzybl did back at Bahrain at the very first round of the championship. Then we went to Mexico, to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for round 5 on the 10th of December. That was only 2 days ago, and Oscar King made it a triple dream. 3 in his last 3 races. He has become a race winner, and now he looks to clinch the crown here in round 6. Could he make it 4 in his last 4? We will wait and see. The Las Vegas Strip here, now alive and kicking for tonight's action. We look forward to seeing it. I mean, it's been a long season, a big battle. Can you see the win once again being sent between the top 2 in the championship here, Lindsay?
I think so. I mean, Riley McKay will obviously be battling there, and we will have Campbell Adams fighting up through the back, but I think that there is just not enough time of day for Campbell Adams to get back through to that lead fight. But I do think it'll come down to King versus Przyzybl for the race win, and I think obviously for the championship it is going to be absolutely crucial for those two to be in those 1 and 2 spots for their best shot at the championship, and I think it is going to be anybody's guess as to who takes it home. We thought we knew in qualifying, and our expectations were quickly diverted to Riley McKay, and will we see something similar in the race? Maybe so. It is going to be a very interesting race, very interesting 25 laps ahead of us.
Yeah, we just caught pictures there of the Las Vegas Strip. Obviously the water, the rain coming down in the initial was a dramatic affair to open up qualifying in Q1. Luckily enough, I don't think it perturbed too many people at the very start, as obviously the track conditions improved towards the last-ditch stages. But again, it's been a fantastic championship fight. As we said before, 2 points between the top 2 in the standings, but credit has to go to Riley McKay for that last-ditch effort. I mean, I suppose that is an indication of where the pressure stacks up, really, doesn't it, Lindsay? When you've got a driver who's not in the title fight, he can afford to let everything hang loose. The top 2 probably have a little bit of trepidation around them. So, you know, at this point, with I suppose the gloves off, really, at this stage, you know, Riley was able to just let everything go, just attack that qualifying session.
Yeah, nothing left to lose for Riley McKay, and I think it showed there. That was an absolutely committed lap around the Las Vegas street circuit, and I think we'll see more of that in the race. He does not have to worry about anything championship related, so we will see him just continue to go for it, whereas Przyzybl and King and anybody else who's in close contention with each other in the standings will have to just try and play it not safe, but they're going to have to try and not ruin their own races for their championship. So I think it is going to be very interesting to see how differently Riley McKay drives compared to the other 2 Veloce Academy drivers that we see 2 points separated at the top of the standings.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thrill as well, just watching who is going to come out on top in that battle. A few other danger names, though, to look out for. I mean, first and foremost, we've got to talk about Campbell Adams as well, someone who's been obviously right in the foray and at the forefront of all the action at the very highest end of the order. Hasn't necessarily come off altogether successful, has not yet taken a first race win, but he's not alone because Riley McKay still chasing his first win as well. But tonight could be McKay's night, obviously, as time draws on. But Campbell Adams starting towards the rear of the field. I mean, that is really going to set him back, Lindsay.
Yeah, it is going to be an absolutely monumental drive for Campbell if he wants to make anything happen results-wise. But we did see just last week in real life, we saw Lewis Hamilton start from P16 on the grid in a Mercedes at Abu Dhabi and make it all the way to P4. It'll be interesting to see if we can see anything reminiscent of that here in the sim on F1 24 in OFI with Campbell Adams.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those tracks as well where, you know, despite the fast-paced nature of it, you know, it's not just a circuit built simply for pure speed. There is that strategy element as well. So as opposed to getting the strategy wrong back at Mexico, do you think this is a chance now for almost for Campbell Adams to get the strategy finally right this time and lift himself off that bottom? Because he's only got one way to go at this point, right? And that's up.
Yeah, and I think that that's exactly right. And much like Riley McKay, he's just going to be absolutely sending it. There's not too many stakes for his result tonight. He is just going to absolutely fly around this circuit and see how many cars he can overtake. And with the nature of this track, the sky's the limit for Campbell Adams, and I think he's really going to show what he's made of. Starting near the front and finishing near the front is one thing, but definitely trying to fight the way back through, that really shows what sort of driver you are.
Yeah, and also I think in this case, we speak about tyres and how they behave out on track. The hard tyre now, really on this game, a fantastic race tyre. And it generally is as well. Opens doors for strategy. Obviously, that if you're able to last longer and preserve the tyres, if you are a tyre whisperer of sorts, it can open up more doors for you. And you never know. Anything can happen through the course of a race. Incidents, things, different elements can come into play. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see who adopts what strategy at the start of the race. But I think the hard tyre could be critical tonight.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right, George. The hard tyre is going to be one of the most important tyres on the grid tonight, followed by the mediums as well. Tyre wear around Vegas is not super high, but it's also not low either, so it is going to be absolutely crucial for the hard tyre runners to get it right.
Yeah, absolutely right. So there we have it. Our two championship protagonists, obviously centered around Gregory Przyzybl, Oscar King. Like we said, 103 points for Przyzybl, 101 points for Oscar King. 2 points between them. Riley McKay, your pole sitter, 71 points. He's 32 points off the top, so not in any championship discussion right about now. But they are simply racing for pride. The gap between Campbell Adams now, there is a battle there brewing for that third place in the championship. Currently 55 points go in the way of Campbell Adams, and like you said, yet to taste victory success here so far this season. His best result this campaign, second with fastest lap at Zandvoort. Let's see if he's able to go one step further here tonight at Vegas. He achieved 2 podiums back-to-back if you factor in the Temple of Speed at Monza as well. That truly phenomenal fight that we saw between Przyzybl, King, Campbell Adams and Riley McKay was also part of that. So that was everyone in your top 4 of the standings. And not forgetting Campbell Adams did take pole back at Mexico, and that was a phenomenal effort, but the strategy letting him down at the very beginning, finishing 6th place in the championship. And in fact, it was outside of the Jeddah non-classification, where of course he retired. It was his worst result that campaign, it has to be said, Lindsay.
Yeah, and it's going to be a bit of a hit, but also a learning lesson from those rounds ago, and that mistake in qualifying as well, not being able to get a final lap in, that is going to be something he will remember for quite a while, I can imagine, and he's just going to take these lessons from this season and apply it to his driving and just become even greater than we've seen so far.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. The timer now ticking to 0 as we await for racing action, and very shortly, folks, we will be heading across live to Las Vegas, and in fact we can do now. There we have it. So those are the scenes. Obviously no threats of rain here, Lindsay. Obviously let us know who you think, everyone in the live chat, as to who you think is going to take victory here tonight. Who's going to win the championship? Let us know. It's between two, Przyzybl or King. Lindsay, your final thoughts before we head into the race.
It's too close to call between those two in the championship, so that's not what I am going to be trying to call here. I think the call is going to be who is going to have the best strategy, and Oscar King is the brains some would say he is very, very smart. He makes a lot of the strategies that he uses. He doesn't take them from anywhere normally, so that strategy could play absolutely a crucial part here in Vegas, and Oscar, I think, has the leg up on that.
He certainly could do. The MGM Grand there in the distance. Let's see who can bring their absolute best. Can confirm no rain in this race. It's going to be a straight fight to the finish. No gimmicks. It's down to the driver's bottle and brains and brawn as we make our way around this Paradise circuit in Nevada. It is going to be a thrill ride. A race certainly to define the very nature of OFI. Let's see what Event 6 can bring. The two championship protagonists, Gregory Przyzybl and Oscar King, none of whom are on pole position as we now head into the race. One of each on the front two rows. 5 lights are all lit, and they put pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. Great start for Riley McKay, as now we watch him make his way through turn 1. Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl already manacled together. King remains in second. Przyzybl being threatened by Jack Humphreys right at the start of this race, as they now burst down this long straight with DRS opening up. Not until, though, the next lap. Here comes Humphreys, as now we see Przyzybl going defensive at the inside. Squeezes Humphreys as they make a little bit of contact. Al-Karudin in 5th, Reese Fisher in 6th, Potato and Checkered, they're battling over P9, and already at the very start, Campbell Adams up into 13th place right at the start.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic start, and he's not done just yet. He's on the inside of F1 Ferrari Pro, trying to make his way through the field. T-Mac finds himself under a bit of pressure, as well as Campbell Adams, side by side with Ferrari Pro on the entry to turn 12, and now he's going to be attacking Checkered, but further up the front, Przyzybl still under pressure from Humphreys as they head down the Las Vegas Boulevard for the first time here for 25 laps, and he is going to be putting the pressure on and receiving the pressure from Jack Humphreys. So lap 1 is about to be closed, but what an opening lap it was here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and already we can notice the strategy choices. Medium tyres for the entirety of the top 5. We then have 4 on the hards. Reese Fisher, Websey, Big Manry, Potato, Big T-Mac, Campbell Adams also on the medium tyre. So this opening stint, critical for Campbell Adams to get right, because as it stands, he's on the faster tyre. Probably a smart choice, in fact. He can follow what the front end are doing, and therefore, as those that come in for the mediums, he can join them on the same stop as he looks down the inside here of Big T-Mac over that top 10 place. Can he move into P10? Yes, he can. Campbell Adams, what a start to his race from the bottom into the top 10 in a matter of a lap. As now Oscar King around the outside. Riley McKay loses out twice. It's King, and now Przyzybl moves into second. Riley McKay down in third.
Yep, the two championship rivals are now 1 and 2 as Jack Humphreys and Riley McKay are going side by side through the second sector. Humphreys on the inside. Riley is going to try to stick it the long way around here. There's wheel rubbing there between the Aston Martin and the Williams as they sweep through these flowing corners, and the run towards turn 12 begins. McKay still on the outside. Humphreys giving the squeeze as they enter towards the Las Vegas Boulevard, and they're still wheel to wheel here for the P3 spot. Riley McKay now might even find himself under pressure from Al-Karudin as they head down the strip. McKay in the slipstream pulls out to the left-hand side, and he's trying to get it done here on Jack Humphreys. They're still side by side as they head towards the DRS zone. The rear wing open on the Aston Martin, and now Al-Karudin tries to get involved as well. He is trying to get past Jack Humphreys, and now he's on the inside of Riley McKay for the P3 place, but Riley just about holds on to it.
Fantastic spicy battle between them. Oh no, Reese Fisher! Reese Fisher is round and gone. He's binned it. Lost the car altogether, coming through towards the final home straight. Coming out of turn 16, it all went wrong. And I have to tell you, what a moment indeed. Jack Humphreys trying to attack Riley McKay. And we saw a thrilling encounter where they went side by side for what can only be described, I think it was an entirety of 2 sectors near enough. Absolutely unbelievable, but it's opened the doors now for Gregory Przyzybl. Campbell Adams, though, on the rise again. He was P10 off the back of the opening lap. Well, he's just gained another 3 spots. He's into P7 within DRS on Big Manry. His story is not done by any means.
Yep, he is making an absolutely fantastic start. He's making the most of mistakes from other drivers around him. He is absolutely flying. First lap's reminiscent of Charles Leclerc in Abu Dhabi just a week ago, and he's making quick work of the field. Next on his list will be Munry, as you stated, George, and on lap 3 already into the top 10 well and truly. So he has a bright race ahead of him as the leaders are about to come to blows, as the DRS is about to open on Oscar King, but he's already alongside Przyzybl as they head down the Las Vegas Boulevard. They're wheel to wheel, and Przyzybl is not going to fight this one back. He knows it's too early to be fighting this one, and further down, Al Karudin gets past Riley McKay. So does Jack Humphreys. So McKay at the back of that train, and that is fantastic stuff. All racing going on up and down the field, and it is no signs of slowing down here with the way Las Vegas is.
Yeah, there we have it. Fastest lap now taken by Oscar King here, but it's immediately been stolen by Campbell Adams. His pace on these medium tyres is truly remarkable. 3 laps accrued already on them. He's 4/10 away from Big Manry. Al Karudin, also a fantastic drive, 1.7 though behind the top 2. And obviously Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl can use the slipstream, also the DRS, to work together here to just protect their positions at the head of the order. So the Veloce Academy team at work again to obviously ensure that this becomes a battle between the 2 championship leaders. Obviously, whilst this race will put them in a proximity of a chance of achieving either Przyzybl a 3rd race win or either Oscar King to take 4 wins on the spin. You know, the championship is essentially outside of whatever happens in terms of race victories. It's depending on who finishes ahead of the other at that point. Though if it does finish on equal points, Oscar King will win the title on count back. He has 3 wins against his name, as Al Karudin manages to bring the gap down by around 0.2 of a second. Remember, it was 1.7. It was then 1.5, as now we see a swap at the very head of the order. Gregory Przyzybl taking the lead. Oscar King now down in 7th. We've got Riley McKay also closing up to the back of Jack Humphreys once more. Humphreys managing to move into 4th place and at least harbour some closure on Al Karudin in 3rd. Karudin once more 1.7 behind the top 2.
Yeah, and in the background of that P3 camera angle, we have Campbell Adams going for a move down the inside on Big Munry at turn 1, and if he can get through, he's going to be right up the back of the P3 train. What a phenomenal start here from Campbell Adams. Sweeps up into P6 with a fantastic move. No lack of confidence in the Silver Arrow, and now he is going to be on the back of Riley McKay, who he's too familiar with battling, but he also has Humphreys and Karudin to deal with, but already approaching that podium train. Truly an impressive start from Campbell Adams.
Yeah, fantastic display from Campbell Adams, and I think if there's ever going to be discussions for Driver of the Day votes, I think already based on what we've seen in the opening laps, that is well deserving of it. It's obviously still very early in this race. Plenty more to come. We're lap 5 into 25 so far, as Oscar King now starts to push Gregory Przyzybl around this Vegas strip. Jack Humphreys down in 4th place. Now got Riley McKay still for company, but Campbell Adams has immediately joined the train and is on the tail of the Aston Martin already. Fantastic race so far for Campbell Adams. Obviously disposing of Big Manry. That was key. Do you know, incidentally, strategy-wise, this is exactly what Campbell Adams needed to do, as now we see Oscar King taking this race lead. Przyzybl now down in 2nd. What this has done is we now see Riley McKay under pressure. Here comes Humphreys. Humphreys into 3rd. Down to 4th goes McKay. Al Karudin now drops down 2 places. Campbell Adams on the tail of all this. Now, because he's joined the back of all those on the medium tyres, he's now in the podium equation. What a sensational decision. What a sensational, bold choice in strategy. But on top of that, a grand display of his pace.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying, and he's nowhere near done yet, and you're exactly right. Now he's caught up to the people who are on the same tyres as him. That puts him right into the contention, and Karudin going towards the inside, maybe a bit worried that Campbell will attack, also just trying to put the pressure onto Riley McKay. So Campbell Adams not messing around here, and he is showing off exactly what he is capable of. It is a drive of a champion here from Campbell Adams, but he is going to have to wait for that championship to come, but I'm sure at some point he will claim one. He is absolutely flying tonight. Only 6 laps in, and he is up more than enough positions here in Las Vegas to deserve a driver of the day, and he's still trying to hunt. He's on the back of Al Karudin right now as we head towards the Las Vegas Boulevard, and Jack Humphreys leading this train. Riley McKay will be trying to get his podium place back as we are heading down the straight now and approaching the detection zone, and now towards the DRS activation. Riley McKay pulls to the left-hand side of Jack Humphries, and he is going to be side by side as they head down to the final chicane, and Campbell Adams in the background as well gets through on Al Karudin, and now he's trying it the long way around on Humphries as well. He gets a good exit off of the final chicane, and Campbell Adams gets 2 in 1 straight.
Fantastic effort from Campbell Adams, bursting through. He took down Al Karudin. He took down Humphries in the chicane. And now Al Karudin is going to try and apply the pressure, this time on Jack Humphries himself, coming through towards turn 1. Humphries with that inside line, defending the place in P5. What a sensational move. I have to say, driver of the day in terms of mere overtakes, but move of the race, if you factor in that he took down 2 cars through 1 chicane, a chicane that is even bold to make a move on another driver to begin with. Truly remarkable from Campbell Adams.
Yeah, it was an absolutely sensational move, and now he's on the back of Riley McKay, and these two are going to battle as they have so often in this long season of OFI. And further up the front as well, Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl still swapping away. We can't ignore that one as well. Oscar King currently leading the way as they head down towards turn number 12, but Campbell Adams falling away a little bit from Riley McKay, but the gap's still only 5/10. That's more than enough for DRS, but Campbell Adams will be under pressure from Jack Humphries as well, who will try and get the place back, as we see Riley McKay moving away on the straight there, just trying to maybe confuse Campbell Adams and also break the slipstream as well, as the DRS is wide open on that Mercedes, and he's going to sweep through. Will Humphries join this party as well? He's going to look to the inside of the chicane, and he's going to get it done on Riley McKay. Sensational stuff there from Humphries. Riley loses out 2 positions down the 1 straight with 1 chicane, and that is not what he's going to want, but he has more than enough time to attack this back as Al Karudin, now the car behind Riley McKay. Is he going to look to the inside of turn 1? No, he's not. Sensational racing here in OFI.
Yeah, what's amazing is that this is all done prior to the pit stop. Generally, in most league races that we have seen, the crescendo tends to arrive in the second stint. Oscar King now swapping once more with Gregory Przyzybl. Is now King takes the lead of the race. Campbell Adams, though, now is going to be working hard to reduce that deficit. And can I just say, still harbours the fastest lap of the race. Now, if you want to look at the prior lap times through the course of this race as well so far, 1:33.698 for Campbell Adams. He is faster than both King and Przyzybl as it stands. So, the pace is still with him, but bear in mind, he had DRS during the times where he was able to sort of manufacture that time. The big question is, can he close up without the power of DRS? Will he work with Jack Humphries? Surely this group have got to work together. But as you can now see, Campbell Adams, look at him, 2.8 now away from the front 2, as now we see the front 2 swap again.
Yep, so they will continue to swap with the DRS, and Campbell Adams truly in the hunt. Humphries opens up the DRS. Is he going to be close enough? No, he's not. And he is closing in on the entry to the chicane, but he doesn't look for the inside. He has the space to just keep the racing line, does Campbell Adams, and that is the pure pace on this Mercedes. But now the run down towards turn 1. Humphries is significantly closer. Maybe he'll go for a move, as that looked like Riley McKay pulling off to the left-hand side to come into the pit lane, and it is, and he gets a 10-second for speeding into the pit lane, and that is a massive race moment in this race, and he is going to be absolutely fuming.
Yeah, we already lost Trent Newton. I get a feeling that's going to be a retirement from Riley McKay. I would not be surprised here at this point. Generally, that's what you see when they come in like that. Obviously, you haven't seen any movements from him. Will he stay in this race? He's in the pits right now. Let's wait and see. Campbell Adams, though, still working hard. 3.2, though. The gap has flown straight back out again. It was coming down quite a lot, but it's now since dropped out to 3.2. Let's have a look at the delta. Obviously, over the course of the last lap, again, it was a 1:33.6. Now, again, Campbell Adams was faster than the front 2 by 3/10. He was 3/10 faster than Gregory Przyzybl in that last lap. So needs to try and dig deep once more to try and bring that delta down. I get the feeling that this will all be decided in that final stint of the race. After the pit stops are applied and they're all on hard tyres, that is where we'll see the swing. Once more, Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl DRSing each other once again. Campbell Adams there further back as well, but he's being joined by Jack Humphries as they fight over P3. Humphries now moves up into 3rd. So now this lot from P3 down have a responsibility, certainly if they want to have a chance of winning this race, to work together in order to get the best result possible. As now into the pits comes Przyzybl and King.
Yep, and so does Humphreys, Campbell Adams, and Al Karuden. All 5 of them end up in the pit lane, and this is crucial for this race. The pit stops are the most important part. None of those top 5 drivers who came into the pit lane get a speeding penalty like we saw Riley McKay do, so that is really important for their races. It would be race done if they did get a penalty, but now this is where we've already seen a lot of racing. This is where it takes it up to another level.
Yeah, certainly does. Hard tyres now applied on the car. Riley McKay is out. Oh, goodness me. Okay. Riley McKay in 14th place. Now, remember, he came in earlier than anybody else, folks. He's now ahead at this stage of Jack Humphreys and Campbell Adams. So sit tight, everybody. What's going to happen here? I'm not going to play dull to all of this. Obviously, will there be some VA intervention here at this point during the race? Obviously, lap 10 of 25. Sit tight, folks. Campbell Adams now sat behind Jack Humphreys. Riley McKay in 14th. Splits Gregory Przyzybl and Oscar King to Jack Humphreys and Campbell Adams down in 15th and 16th. Let's see where this goes.
Yep, this is going to be an interesting watch here as we head down the Las Vegas Boulevard. Surely, with the DRS, they should be able to clear Riley if they use enough battery. Humphreys especially should be close enough to get by, but the real question here is Campbell Adams. Is he going to be close enough to try and make a move? The DRS is open. Campbell is going to try the outside move here on Riley McKay. We saw him pull it off once. Is he going to do it again? Yes, he is. So that is a great move there from Campbell Adams. Humphreys also sweeping through, and now Adams is the driver behind Humphreys once again, but it looks like Riley isn't getting involved too heavily just yet, but he's still in this train.
He certainly is. At the moment, Potato leads this race, but remember, all those currently sat from Ps1 down to Ps9 have yet to box. Oscar King, your net leader as things stand, as we now watch them head through the first sector once again. Oscar King, Gregory Przyzybl still your net front 2, as now he watches further back. Al Karuden comes under pressure as he now looks to, I should say, attack Riley McKay. McKay having a look down the inside. The car still out on track, has actually foregone a few places already, so that Aston Martin doesn't seem like it's going to cause an imposition to those 3 in front, as now we watch them head through the very technical middle sector. This is basically probably the most technical it gets around this Vegas track. 3.1 the gap between Humphreys and King. That was the same gap that existed prior to the pit stops, but who can manage the hard tyres the best? Campbell Adams in P13 has got Al Karuden chasing him down. Potato and Big Manry battling it out as well. They're yet to come into the pits, but very soon we will see them come in. Lap 11 of 25. We're not quite yet at the halfway point. In 2 laps or so we will be. I can't fathom the hard tyres will come in at least for another 4 to 5 laps, but eventually they will do, as now we see Campbell Adams ahead of Jack Humphreys, so he takes net P3.
Yep, so we've seen him in this position before, leading this train, and it'll just continue to swap around like we have seen with the 2 leaders, with Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl, which is going to be fascinating to see now that we are in that final stint. Will they continue to swap as easily, or will they try to do some trickery, trying to figure out who will be behind going on to the final straight? I think that is a massive question here. Now with 14 laps to go in Las Vegas, it is going to be really fascinating, but still looking here at this battle between Campbell Adams, Al Karuden, Jack Humphreys, and Riley McKay slapped onto the back of that train as well. Humphreys did show the nose, but he was never going to go for it with how far back he was. Adams has shown some brilliant pace, and let's not forget the fact that he is in this train fighting for the podium, and he started all the way down the back. He didn't even get into Q2, and he is right here. It is a fantastic drive.
Yeah. Truly illustrious drive here from Campbell Adams, regardless of how this result turns. 3.5 now away from Oscar King in that net P2 position. P10 currently showing on track. Still no movements further up in terms of pit stops, but again, like I said, we won't see that probably for another few laps, as Potato now takes the lead on track. F1 Ferrari Pro also now looking to move up on Yusuf Goat, right in the wheel tracks. He moves just in behind the Red Bull as they come into the next chicane, and now making their way out of turn 16, will then burst down Harmon Avenue before reaching turn 17 to once more across the start-finish line, and into the pits they go. Those that started on the hards now coming into box. F1 Ferrari Pro, ACW. Gregory Przyzybl now moves past them both. He now takes the net race lead with Oscar King, net P2. Karma F1 still out on track. He's got Jack Humphreys in behind him by 3.2 seconds. So there we have it. The strategy starting to unfold now as we start to see those that started on hards move to the medium tyres.
Yep, and this is where the final stage of this race really kicks into gear as Al Karuden thought about going for it on Campbell Adams down into turn number 5, but he thinks better of it. But this is where the gloves have began to come off, and this is where we will see truly what these drivers are made of as Humphreys makes a massive mistake going into the chicane past the sphere. He had a massive slide. Luckily, didn't lose out too much time from it, but that was definitely a scary moment in the cockpit of that Williams.
Yeah, now this will obviously as well, we've obviously seen the first of the hard tyres come into the pits to change tyres. Does this instigate anything from those that are currently sat on the hards to now ensure that they come in over the course of the next lap just to respond to the moves being made by F1 Ferrari Pro, because he's going to be faster in the initial on those medium tyres. Of course, he's going to have the issues of degradation very late into the race, because obviously those medium tyres are not going to last forever, as now we see Jack Humphreys and Campbell Adams once again swap. Campbell Adams moving up to P9 on track, but that's a net P3 that he's managed to obtain as he now moves his way past Humphreys, and Al Karuden also looking to try and gain as well, and they're bashing wheels as they head through towards the final corner. Fastest lap for Gregory Przyzybl as they now fly through the final corner, as they now make their way in towards turn 1. Al Karuden now has got his nose in front, but Jack Humphreys refusing to lie down here for the McLaren, as now Al Karuden moves up into 9th, Humphreys down in 10th, so that's a net P4 for Al Karuden.
Yep, and he is continuing to push on, but what a move it was there from Al Karuden, a long way round at turn 1, and they went side by side onto Harmon Avenue. He went side by side through the final chicane as Oscar King is now navigating some traffic, trying to get past his teammate Yusuf Goat. He did just get past Websy, so he has some work to do, and this could be a crucial moment for this race. It all depends on who navigates the traffic better between Przyzybl and King, but right now King is struggling to get past. He's actually having to go down the inside at turn 12. He gets it done on his teammate, who has damaged the 2 Red Bull cars, just battling away just a little bit there. Obviously, they might be teammates in the cars, but it's still an individual event. So those two still battling as hard as they can. But now King still has the DRS, so he hasn't lost touch to Przyzybl too much, but Przyzybl is getting past Checkered now, going into the final chicane, and that is a car between them as they are about to head towards lap 15. That is crucial.
Yeah, bear in mind as well, all those that are on those 13-lap-old tyres, they've all got to box, so they're lap traffic here at this stage, as we now watch as Gregory Przyzybl flies around the final corner, net race leader and will be champion should it stay like this. But Oscar King moving ahead now of Checkered into 4th, and net P2 trying to hunt down after Przyzybl and still remains within DRS. This is far from over here at this point as we now watch them head down this next straight towards turn 5. DRS now will come to an end at the end of this straight, and then they'll venture in towards sector 3 on the escape out of turn 5 in towards turn 6. It is still Przyzybl in 3rd. Potato and Big Man Ray have been going at it as well. MJ Roller into the pits as well alike, so he must have sustained, I believe, some form of damage, because he's now swapped on to 4-lap-old hard tyres. In fact, he's moving on to mediums again now this time, so yes, must have been an issue with damage in that case. So at this stage, it's Przyzybl and King, 3rd and 4th. And remember, those that have still yet to pit are currently littered in behind. There's 3 of them in total, with Campbell Adams just in behind him. And the problem with this is that Campbell Adams has got to try and get past this entire group, before even reaching Oscar King. So that'll hold them up even more. This is definitely looking like the P3 battle is separate now from the lead battle.
Yeah, as Oscar King goes down the inside of Przyzybl. It was a late lunge there, but he did pull up alongside as they hit the brakes, as Karuden getting past Campbell Adams for this P3 battle, as that was Riley McKay and Campbell Adams making contact, and that was a massive moment for Riley McKay, and that is a yellow flag, and the Aston Martin is spun round. There was contact there between Humphries and Riley McKay, and that is just the icing on the cake for what has been a very poor race for Riley McKay after getting the penalty. He had the pace, but now he has damage, and he pulls into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think that's race over for Riley McKay. Another 10-second time penalty, and he retires from the session. So once more, issues plaguing Riley McKay in his championship. He may be able to take pole. His one-lap pace is stellar, but surely the work needs to be done as far as the race is concerned. So Riley McKay out of this final round in the OFI Event 6. He will not be completing checkered as we now ride on board with him. He's now battling it out with Big T-Mac on his fresh medium tyres and Big T-Mac on his 5-lap-old hard tyres. It's a no contest between those two. Gregory Przyzybl has taken the overall lead of the race as the final pit stops have come into play. Oscar King in second, and further down Al Karudin occupies that overall P3. And with Jack Humphries coming together with Riley McKay earlier on, that has led to him being 2.6 seconds out from Campbell Adams in P4.
Yep, it is a massive gap, and now it is just between Al Karudin and Campbell Adams for that P3 spot as they will scrap away unless Humphries pulls an absolutely phenomenal drive. I see him being out of this P3 fight, but there is still 10 laps at the end of the day. Anything is possible as King and Przyzybl head on to lap 17. There's not too long to go here in the last race of OFI, but it's still anybody's game for the championship between these two.
Yep, certainly is. Gregory Przyzybl currently sat in second at this time, and Oscar King still leading the way. DRS now open here for the Ferrari that sits in second place, championship leader. But at this point, it would be Oscar King crowned champion should it stay like this. And Oscar King bidding to become a 4-time race winner in his last 4 races in the OFI Event 6. Coming in towards Sector 2 this time now as they round Turn 6 in towards the chicane, coming out of Turn 7 and Turn 8. Next up, a trip through Turn 9, before then another straight leading towards Turn 10. And Gregory Przyzybl, who has not tasted a victory since Jeddah. The Corniche opened the door for him to take his second win of the season, but now could yet achieve his third. But it's going to be a furious fight against fellow Veloce Academy counterpart Oscar King, with Campbell Adams back in third place, a position that he was last in back at Monza. Or should I say further, but no, it was back at Monza in fact. After starting 4th on the grid, Campbell Adams finishing P3 at the Temple of Speed as we now watch Gregory Przyzybl make his way down the long straight and will take the lead on lap 17.
Yep, and Karudin gets past Campbell Adams as well in the background. So all the DRS swapping going on at the moment as Potato and Munry go side by side as well. And that has moved on with the DRS. Munry moves up into the top 6. This is the battle for the edge of the top 6 between Potato and Munry. They'll be quite happy with where they're sitting at the moment. I think that Potato has had a bit of a struggle this season. So anywhere in the points will be absolutely huge. He did pick up a singular one at Mexico, and now he's looking to better it here in Las Vegas, so he'll be happy to be fighting for the 6th place position as well.
Yeah, certainly will. Lap 18 of 25 at this stage. Oscar King once more manacled together with Gregory Przyzybl, who now leads this race as they now head through into the middle sector. Coming through Sector 2 this time, Oscar King now on the tail, and I must say, I would say that Oscar King looks probably the more dangerous out of the two at this stage, almost pushing Gregory Przyzybl around through the middle sector. Of course, he will, you'd fathom, take the race lead back again when DRS opens up, heading down the Las Vegas Boulevard. But it just seems to me there's something more about Oscar King than Gregory Przyzybl here tonight.
Yeah, he just looks to have a little bit of extra confidence here potentially, and just a little bit of extra race pace. In qualifying, we saw Przyzybl had it over King, but now when push comes to shove here in the race, it looks like King just looks a little bit more calm and collected as he's going to sweep by into the lead again. And I think it's cool-headedness that wins a championship, and the ability to stay calm will be King's absolute superpower here in the dying stages.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Potato moving up into 6th place as well, ahead of Big Manry down in 7th. The gap's now minute. Yusuf Goat also on the tail of the two Kick Saubers, Websy ACW as well, sat in 11th and 12th. Karma F1 just locked in behind. Of course, we saw from Karma's side, Just bringing us that hot lap guide, which we greatly appreciate from him, as we watch them head down towards out of Harman Avenue through turn 17 and now to begin their lap 19 of 25. Oscar King out in charge and in control at the lead of the race. The constant swapping though between the pair to try and protect this lead away from Al Karudin and Campbell Adams, who currently sit in third and fourth at this time. 6 laps to go if we include this one, and still more to come.
Yep, and I think that the swapping will continue as we've seen for the past 19 laps, and this is going to be really interesting because I think it is going to be the car behind in both of these 2-car battles for both P1 and P4 that will take the position. I have seen otherwise in other races, but it's very difficult and you have to have more battery than your counterpart that's attacking behind you. So I think that it is going to be DRS chicken on the final lap between both Al Karudin and Campbell Adams and Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl, which will be very, very entertaining as Przyzybl once again swoops into the lead here on lap 19 to finish the lap. And this is looking like it is going to be a blockbuster finish here.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, between the front two in the order, it's been the same story right through since Bahrain. And it seems to me that it's going to come to a head once more with Przyzybl and King dicing it out together. Looks like a little bit of damage as well that has fallen off. Has someone lost an end plate? Does make you wonder. Might be Jack Humphreys, and I think it was because he's coming into the pits. And yes, there is a piece of end plate missing off the front left side of the front wing off that Williams car. Into the box comes Jack Humphreys. Is this going to be a retirement? It's a change of tyres. He's moving on to the softs, maybe in an attempt to take the fastest lap of the race with only 5 laps left to go.
Yep, just one last hurrah for Jack Humphreys in this Las Vegas race. I think he is going to try and snatch the fastest lap, which he should be able to confidently do with soft tyres strapped onto his Williams. With the pace he has, undoubtedly he should be getting the fastest lap unless somebody else makes a mistake on a similar level, such as Al Karudin or Campbell Adams with their pace. It then could be interesting for the fastest lap, but hopefully we don't see that, as the battle is absolutely fantastic for the P3 spot. They are 5 seconds behind the leaders, as they have been for quite a while. So that battle has been signed and sealed for P2, but the P3 fight rages on. So does the fight for the lead as we head down the strip once again for the 20th time this race. And once again, the 2 leaders swap around. The 2 championship contenders separated by 2 points are swapping around every single lap.
Yeah, obviously just looking at the times as well over the course of the last laps, Potato now looks to break away past Big Manry. These two have been fighting. Remember, they stayed out on their stint on the hard tyres, and they were sort of DRSing each other as well to try and, I think, help their own cause in terms of the pit stop phase. And I've got to say, got to give credit where credit's due, especially for Potato through the course of this championship fray. Came into this 12th in the championship and has not achieved a result like this so far this season. His best result was P6 back at Jeddah. So should he finish P5, that will be his best finish of the season. And Big Manry, who is just behind him, who's going to try and stop that from happening, obviously only came in recent rounds. Actually finished 11th back at Mexico. So this would be his first top 10 finish.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stakes here for these 2 drivers that are battling away for the 5th position, just for driver pride as well. Potato has been very, very fast, but hasn't had the best of luck, and now he is in a position where he's fighting for a P5 place, and he's going to give it his all, but so is Munry. We're just trying to get points here in OFI. It would be a sensational achievement, but a top 5 would make it all the much sweeter for the Haas, and he is going to continue to push on. So these 2 will battle away to the absolute death of it as well. So we have a battle for P1, P3, and P5. 2-car trains, 2-car battles seem to be the theme here around Las Vegas.
Yeah, lap 21 of 25 will soon become lap 22 at the end of Harman Avenue. It is still Oscar King who leads the way. Gregory Przyzybl opted against really making any moves heading into the chicane, coming out of the latter stages of the boulevard. But as you now head around turn 1, the Ferrari just content to remain in behind. You can just see the reason why he might be content is because you can see the rear light flashing on his car, as is flashing on Oscar King. They're all saving battery here at this point, no doubt, for one last battle right at the end of this race, as Oscar King now turns his off.
Yep, and this is going to be it here. This is the final 4 laps here under the lights in Las Vegas, and it is going to be these two drivers. We've seen them battle from start to finish as Jack Humphries takes first lap 31.643, but they are now charging up the battery as they have been for the past few laps, and now it's really going to get serious between these two, using all of the battery they can whilst also saving enough to have all the battery they can going on to the final straight of the race. It is crucial that they have it, or that could change the race entirely, and it is going to be battery strategy and track position strategy that is going to win this race. But as we said earlier, Oscar King just looks a bit more cool-headed out there. He looks like he is just about quicker here in race pace.
Yeah, I have to say, I think if you look at over the course of the last few laps, incidentally, Oscar King over the last lap was quicker than Gregory Przyzybl. And Campbell Adams, incidentally, faster than both of them together. You know, he's been absolutely rapid as Campbell Adams. Potato and Big Man Ray once again fighting it out as well over that P5 place. Potato taking 5th place back away from Big Man Ray as we now watch as the front two once more head in towards turn 1. It's King now who still leads, and once more Gregory Przyzybl just leaving that rear light flashing on his car, just so insistent to charge that battery, as is Oscar King, and they are remaining as they are right now. Obviously, the gloves have to be off in the remaining couple of laps. The next lap will be the penultimate one, where the championship and the race will be ultimately decided. Al Karudin sat in 4th spot, still chasing down after Campbell Adams as well. All places on the podium are up for question as we now watch them head through Sector 2 with a trip down through towards Turn 10. Who's it going to be, King or Przyzybl? Let us know in the live chat, folks.
So the battle will now really begin as if it hadn't already, but they are about to head towards the penultimate lap, and this is where what the drivers want to do will really become easy to tell. Przyzybl probably want to stay behind, but Oscar might prefer to be the car out in front, but I highly doubt it, as Przyzybl opening up the rear wing here on lap 23 of 25, and once again he's opting to stay behind, so his intentions are all but clear. But will King stay in the lead, or will they have a little bit of no you go action, as we've seen in real life with Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc back in Saudi Arabia all those 2 years ago? And we could see something similar between a Ferrari and Red Bull once again here as we head on to the penultimate lap here in Las Vegas. It's all to play for in the championship and for the race win. Oscar King and Gregory Przyzybl battling away.
Yeah, well, we're seeing from Will Gibson there in the live chat. He's apparently told Gregory Przyzybl to stay behind Gregory Przyzybl. So the Veloce Academy obviously favouring Przyzybl for the win and the championship here at this stage to make it equal in terms of 3 race wins. And obviously it would hand Przyzybl the championship. The big question is, how does Oscar King feel about that? That is the big mystery as we now venture around the midway point of this lap now here on the penultimate stage. Lap 24 of 25. Jack Humphries has called it a day on his soft tyres. That is a retirement from this race. That is 3 cars out in terms of those that are racing. 4 if you include Slammers Williams as well. And Oscar King out in front by half a second. But for how much longer is that going to remain the same?
Yeah, it is a question we are going to be asking as we head through the detection zone. So Przyzybl once again will have the DRS, but now will any games come into this, or will Oscar just safely hold the lead? We are getting towards the braking zone, about 200 meters out, heading towards 150 meters out. Will King pull out of the way? No, he won't. He's going to hold the lead. Przyzybl stays behind here, and we have 1 lap to decide the championship here in Las Vegas. Przyzybl down towards turn 1. Is he going to attack? I highly doubt it, but he is right up behind his counterpart in VA for the championship. Here we go, 1 more.
Yeah, coming through towards turn 1 to begin lap 25 of 25. Oscar King still leads the way, but Gregory Przyzybl, who's been patient right through the course of the last few laps, obviously just content to wait behind the Red Bull, and King is trying to break that DRS. Will Gibson, the engineer, part of Veloce Academy, may have favoured Gregory Przyzybl for the win here, but Oscar King is not going down without a fight. He's trying to shake him, keep him behind, keep him at bay here at this point. Wheel to wheel, they're not quite yet, but nose to tail, they'll certainly stay as we now watch them head through the next left-hander. Now this time, the big question is, Who has got this race in the palm of their hands as they come through Sector 2?
Yep, so Przyzybl right up behind King, and there is DRS checking going on. There's contact between the two leaders, and they are going very slow as they head through turn 12, and we head onto the Las Vegas Boulevard for one last time here to decide the championship. It can only be won by one of these two phenomenal drivers. Who's it going to be as we head down the strip and towards the DRS zone for one last time?
Yeah, with DRS open now, Gregory Przyzybl will surely go for the inevitable. Round the outside, King has no defence. Surely now he has to remain within the wheel tracks and utilise any pace that he has left in that Red Bull. But the wings have failed him. Gregory Przyzybl coming out of the final remaining corners. Turn 17 will come alike out of Harmon Avenue. It's victory, number 3, and championship for Gregory Przyzybl and his Ferrari. Victory goes his way with Oscar King finishing in second. A full-on podium record for Gregory Przyzybl. Third place going to Al Karudin at the very death, with Potato coming into fourth and Campbell Adams retiring from the race, giving Al Karudin an incredible podium finish for only the second time this season since Jeddah.
Yep, and what a finish to the race it was, and Przyzybl ultimately knocking out the championship. What an end. Oscar King made a mistake on the exit. He hit the wall and lost a little bit of time, which is why we didn't see any sort of drag race to the line or any efforts to fight back, but the inevitable was always coming once Przyzybl got the DRS.
Well, Oscar King, I'm sure, will be disappointed to a certain degree. Obviously did not unfortunately put himself in a position where he could have challenged for that championship victory, though he was, I should say, in a position to challenge. We just lost our online services, so we will not be getting any results here at this stage. So I'm afraid nil point in that sense. Not that it necessarily matters here at this point, because we know who is the championship winner, and it is, of course, Gregory Przyzybl. And, of course, I would imagine we'll hear from them very shortly. How do you think the feelings are right now, Lindsay, in terms of how the drivers might be feeling? I can't help feel that there might be a little bit of, perhaps a little bit of gripe there if you're Oscar King.
Honestly, I don't think so. I think he ran a good championship battle with Gregory Przyzybl, and I think at the end of the day, he might be a bit disappointed to lose out at the final possible moment you can. So that might be a massive feeling, but I don't think that he's going to be super frustrated in any way. I think he's just going to be very proud of Gregory Przyzybl, who he has taken under his wing in the past couple of months. So I think he'll be very happy just to see any of those VA boys take home the title.
Yeah, no, well, at the end of the day, it has gone Przyzybyl's way, but it has been a thrill ride of sorts making our way through this championship. We will, of course, hear from the drivers, I'm sure, very shortly. Be very intrigued to hear from their standpoint as to how they felt the race unfolded. Truly remarkable, though it has to be said. Credit to Potato as well. Al Karudin, I've got to say, also a driver that has been fighting up at the forefront for the OFI in prior seasons. I remember one race at Spa where, of course, we saw them go wheel to wheel. Plenty of battling. Al Karudin coming out on top in that one, but he's back with a bang this time. Like I said, last P3 he managed to obtain was back at Jeddah at the Corniche, but back here at Vegas, managing to pick one up again this time. So that's his second podium of the campaign. That's a proud moment for Al Karudin, Lindsay.
Yeah, I think it was a phenomenal drive from Al Karudin to take it. He had a long, hard battle with Campbell Adams, and he was the one that got it at the end of the day, and that is really, really impressive. I'd love to know how Campbell Adams managed to retire in the dying stages after such a phenomenal drive starting up the back. Maybe some game shenanigans there, but right now Al Karudin sitting the P3 car with a phenomenal drive, and yeah, you can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. And I'm just looking in the live chat as well, guys. Those of you as well who are perhaps asking questions as to how to enter the Next Level Racing rig competition that we do, of course, have running here in the OFI. If you want to get involved and be in with a chance of winning a piece of Next Level Racing merchandise, of course, remember, we're taking one entry per race. That's one entry per round. And you can use hashtag Decider, all in capitals, hashtag Decider, to enter. It'll be for the last time that we're taking entries for this competition. We will be announcing the winner very, very soon, so be sure to stay tuned in to find out who was, of course, the winner of this one. We're just waiting now to receive our drivers in the commentary box. I can already see that there are some coming into the waiting room. Al Karudin already coming in, as well as Oscar King. So we'll wait and see who comes in first. Hopefully Big Al is they're going to be the one we see first. Of course, Big Al being Al Karudin. Gregory Przyzybl also joining too. But in terms of those who shone, I would say Campbell Adams' rise from the bottom to the essential top at that point. Lindsay, that first stint was incredible.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal drive. I didn't even know how he just gained so many positions, but his opening lap, I think, was a tipping point in that as well. He made up so many places off of the start, and that really was a fantastic drive from Campbell Adams. You cannot take that away from him. That was phenomenal driving.
Yeah, and a huge result as well for Big Manry as well, right at the bitter end. Of course, someone who has not tasted that level of success at all through the course of the championship so far. So credit to him on that drive. Of course, in recent times, his best result, I think, was P13 at Mexico last time out. He actually had he actually didn't compete at Zandvoort, but he hasn't raced all season. Turned up at Mexico P13. Today, he's achieved a top 10 and big points as well. So credit to him for that. That is a massive achievement. We've got the final classification as well here, guys. We can run through it. Apologies that we didn't get to do it during the race. Obviously, we had the online services breakdown, of course. Not the first time that we have seen that. But Gregory Przyzybl is your race winner and champion. 25 points going his way to make it his third win in this season's series. Of course, Oscar King now, he's level. They're both level together on 3 wins apiece. Al Karudin finished in 3rd with Campbell Adams in 4th. Potato finishing in 5th. Big Man Ray with that incredible P6 as well. Potato with his best finish of the campaign as well. Websy in 7th. F1 Ferrari Pro in 8th. We got Yusuf Goat in 9th. Thomas McInnes in 10th. Karma in 11th. Checkered Flag in 12th. ACW in 13th, Matt Plevey in 14th, Reese Fisher in 15th, MJ Roller 16th. We of course lost Jack Humphreys, who took the fastest lap, and we lost Riley McKay, Trent Newton, and of course Slammer didn't take part. Of course, Jack Humphreys with that fastest lap, but obviously did not finish the race. So there we have it. Those are the results. Now we can hear from our podium sitters. First up, Al Karudin. Al, it's been a while. But great to have you back. And your second podium this season. You must be thrilled.
First of all, good morning to you, Josh and Nathan, and then probably got a good night for me, for the rest of the Aussie people. My name is Al. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm feeling happy at the moment. Yeah, it's just one of those races, I guess, where I got a bit of luck on my side.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race on your part. I mean, you were right in the thick of that battle. You and Campbell Adams were going at it. Jack Humphreys was part of it as well. It was, I've commentated, quite a few races of yours in the OFI. And, it's always a pleasure watching you race as well against the likes of Humphreys as well. And, of course, many of the others that have competed in this series. But that, I would say, was probably one of your best performances of Event 6.
Pace-wise, I really didn't have much space on me, but I guess I just used all my experience to the best that I could. But I think the best performance for me is at Zandvoort, where I start last and then I finished like 7. I came all the way from the back and then make it my way to like the middle of the pack. But yeah, all this OFI event, all these 6 races, I just couldn't show my true, or I couldn't show my face really. It's always some things go against me, but luckily tonight, yeah, luck was on my side. I just got lucky, I guess.
Well, listen, you got to make your own luck sometimes. I'm sure you're absolutely thrilled with it, though. Al, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the podium. That's a second podium of this event. Massive congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
I would like to say something before I go.
Please do.
Yeah, this is gonna be my last race in this region in OFI, as most of the drivers know already. I would like to say thank you to Slammers for organizing this event. Which is thank you for letting me be a part of it. Yeah, and then I would like to say shout out to Ryan Bell and Kieran Potter. We've been racing since 2019 basically. And then I'm probably the last one that's still driving, so I decided to stop at the moment. Let the young ones have their time. I had my time. I have fun with it, and I would also like to shout out to T-Mac, to Thomas McInnes, and the two of my best friend, Tristan Moore, and my brother Zane is watching this at the moment. So shout out to all of you. Yeah, I'm very happy to be part of it. And then I guess goodbye and thank you.
Well, Al, can I just say from me, it's been a privilege and a pleasure knowing you as part of the OFI as well. So sorry to hear you're going, so I guess we will not be seeing Big Al anytime soon. Al Crudin leaving us. Please, everyone in the live chat, I want to see hashtag goodbye Al. I want to see that in the live chat. Please do that for us. Al, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to miss you, my friend. Thank you for being part of the OFI, and I wish you the very best of luck.
Josh, thank you so much. Thank you for knowing me. Thank you for everything.
No problem. We'll see you. Well, hopefully I'll get to speak to you again in the future sometime. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But Big Al, everybody. Thank you, everyone in the chat as well, for getting involved in that. Next up, we have Oscar King with us in the live chat as well. Now, this is going to be a very interesting interview. I'm keen to get his thoughts on this because obviously not necessarily going his way, finishing second, though, in the championship. But I would imagine he might have wanted more. Oscar, you had the title in your grasp. Talk us through it.
Look, it's just, as I said on Tuesday night, that was always how the race was going to end, in some sort of DRS game. Yeah, look, Greg was quick all night. He positioned himself well. Yeah, to be honest, George, I'm just bloody proud of him. We started working together about a year ago, and you know, these guys in Gregory and Riley, they just work so hard. They've set themselves from the rest in the region, and yeah, he absolutely deserves this championship. He is the best in the country at the moment, and it's not close either.
No. Well, I mean, you gave a good account of yourself this season. I mean, to go as far as to say that he's the best in the country right now maybe takes away from what you've achieved over the course of the last few races. We, of course, witnessed you going 3 for 3, all starting all the way back at Zandvoort, pole to victory back at Monza, and victory at Mexico. Do you think, had you obviously been in a position where you were able to strike in P2, that it would have been your time to shine?
Oh yeah, like, you know, if I was able to position the car to get to P2, then yeah, absolutely, you know, it's a chance. And you know, but at Vegas, given how the DRS zones move, like, you can brake on that last lap and get a gap that's defendable into turn 14. So yeah, look, it's just all things to consider for the future when we race here, for the rest of the game cycle. And you know, I'm not disappointed with how it panned out. I drove well enough. I had unbelievable screen freezes because of the update on Monday. So yeah, like, you know, I'm happy with how I drove, and I'm happy with how I've driven on the game. I've progressed as a driver, even though that's not really my ambition. So yeah, but like, yeah, I am genuinely so proud of the work that we've put in over the last year. It's really paying off in spades. Yeah, that's all I've got. And big shout out to Slammer for putting on this competition over the past couple of years. It's just getting bigger and greater, and it will next year as well. And yeah, it's just it's brilliant for the community. You can see the progression.
Okay, well, I mean, looking at it, obviously we appreciate the praise for Slammer, amazing job as well. Obviously we will be looking over and reviewing those results, I am sure, and just looking back at some of the special moments. But I mean, for you, obviously coming in, you've mentioned obviously you're proud of what the team have achieved of sorts. Was it mission accomplished in the end then, do you think, in terms of how this unfolded?
Yeah, look, I mean, look, I'd have loved to have won, absolutely, but you know, I didn't drive well enough to win. If you look over the course of the season, you know, it's yeah, like I probably on average drove about second best. So yeah, I think what happened was certainly deserved. But yeah, it is definitely a relief. It is mission accomplished. You know, if you look across the season, Veloce Academy was responsible for, you know, 12 of the 18 podiums on offer. So yeah, definitely a relief and mission accomplished.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. Massive congratulations, Oscar. Well done on the P2 in the championship, and also near enough getting a full-on podiums record. Discounting Jeddah, obviously, where you finished P5. But we wish you the very best of luck, mate. Well done.
Thanks, George. Thanks, boys.
Great stuff. So that is, of course, Oscar King, everybody. We've now got our champion with us here in the live chat as well. Gregory Przyzybl, he is a 3-time race winner this season. He has not missed a beat in terms of podiums this campaign either, with 1 pole position to his name, and he's just capped off a victory at Vegas and taken the crown. Gregory, congratulations on your success, sealing the deal on the OFI Event 6 Championship. As Oscar King has just said, you're the best driver in the Oceanic region as far as he's concerned. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, GG's to Prince, to be fair. He's driven incredible, much better than me, like, driving-wise. Like, I think on pure pace, I'm better, but he drove so much better than me this competition. If he didn't get wing damage in Jeddah, it probably would have been a slightly different story tonight. And, yeah, I'm just glad to have gotten it done. I think, optimally, I should have got it done sooner, but, I mean, I still won, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic championship. Like I said before, you've not missed a beat in terms of podiums right through the course of this campaign. And in fact, I don't think you've been outside the top 3 places in qualifying whatsoever. Just sheer consistency on show. I mean, just talk us through it. Obviously, you've had a lot of help, I would imagine, from the VA team behind you. I mean, being part of that organisation, do you think that's directly led to your growth in winning this championship?
Yeah, I mean, Veloce's helped us out so much. Like, we'll forever be thankful to them. All the managers, the engineers. Thank you, Will. I know you're here. He engineered me tonight. Massive thanks to him. Couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, and obviously looking ahead, no doubt the OFI will be back. Will it be the case that you'll be looking to defend your crown, defend your title? What's the plans? I mean, obviously you must be proud, right? First and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm happy I won. I'm always very hard on myself. I think I could have performed a lot better. I mean, I know I won, but there's still so many things I need to review to improve. And at the end of the day, you're only as good as yourself, so I do think I can improve my driving quite a bit. In terms of consistency, I've been really, I wouldn't say struggling, but yeah, I mean, I've sold pretty much every Q3 this campaign, so I'm hoping to improve on that next time.
Yeah, well, we wish you all the very best of luck with that, and I'm sure we'll see you back very soon as well. Massive congratulations, Event 6 champion of the OFI. It's Gregory Przyzybl. Congratulations, Gregory.
Thank you. Also want to say a big, massive shout out to Slammer for organising this. He's done a phenomenal job as always. With this game being how it is, he's just set up the event almost perfectly. Can't thank him enough. And thanks to Lindsay for commentating as well. You, Lindsay and George, you both did an incredible job tonight, I assume.
Yes, thanks so much, Greg, and congrats on the championship, mate. You deserve it.
Thank you, man.
Massive congratulations, Gregory Przyzybl. Champion, like we said, thank you so much to him for joining us for some final words as well. Veloce Academy representative, and look at that. They've taken Ps1 and Ps2 in the championship as well. So a huge shout out as well to Slammer, who is in fact with us as well here in the commentary box. Slammer, you must be absolutely thrilled. I'm going to bring you in on this. I'm going to force you into the broadcast because very soon we're going to be announcing the winner of the competition series that we've got running here as well. But have you got some thoughts or something you would like to share after the final race of the season?
Thanks, George, and yeah, thanks to basically everyone out there watching that supports this initiative. We get to see the best going round, and the guys have just delivered with aplomb under some very trying circumstances, as we all know, from a technology point of view, especially over the last couple of weeks. That sort of had us all sweating a little bit, but. Yeah, I'm just, again, I think like I said last time, I'll say it again this time, I'm just delighted the way the whole community gets together and sort of, makes this happen. I'm not good enough to drive, so I'll just sit in the backgrounds and try and pull some strings, but it's not just me, obviously. There's quite a few people that are behind the scenes that make it happen, so I just want to have a bit of a shout out, obviously, to the commentators yourself, George. You're our token Aussie. We will naturalise you one day. You just got to get your ass down here sooner rather than later, mate. We'll get you in a Kubra hat and a little koala and a kangaroo to take home with you. But I can't thank you enough, mate. I can't thank you enough for your support. Really helping put us as a region on the map, step by step, like we said, probably a couple of years ago now, almost. I think so. Slowly but surely we do get there. Zandon, Cam, Maddie, Jaden. Nathan and Lindsay, who have all stepped up and showcased their skills. I think I said before that it takes. I want to highlight the people in our community, the drivers. I want to highlight the commentators, basically everyone. We had 30 drivers participate in this series this time round, and I think that's an awesome effort considering some of the I suppose nuances of the game. I think if we're going to be fair about it, but we are looking to try and build and build and build, and if things go well for next individual OFI, watch out, because if you think we're big now, it is going to explode if things go well. So just mark my words on that one, guys. We've got some massive, massive plans. I just want to shout out to a couple more people as well, George. Sorry, our stewards. Mate, we got a couple of, well, we got a few stewards. So they're led by Assassin, who's actually up your way. We try and keep it as independent as possible. They are harsh, as the drivers will tell you, but I think it's led to some cleaner driving as the competition went on. So Assassin, who leads them out, El Jacko, who is our onshore representative as well, that helps out, and Briggsy and Grovey as well from up the Northern Hemisphere too. They've been sensational helping out. A massive call out and shout out to Reese Fisher and Matt Plevey. The amount of work these guys do behind the scenes is, nobody sees it, nobody hears it, but they care so much about this community and how we go about it and how we can try and make things bigger and better. And their heart is genuinely in the right place, and none of this happens without them. So big thanks to them. And of course, Macron, who supports us behind the scenes, and I suppose a good segue into our next little chat, Next Level Racing, who have put up a fantastic FGT and a monitor stand for one lucky viewer, which I'm about to draw now actually. So I use the Moodbot app, and it will randomly pick someone. Brilliant. And it will randomly announce them in the chat. If your name gets called out, lads, you've got 2 minutes to type in exclamation claim. Exclamation claim is what you need to write, and it will recognise it, and it'll assign it to you. So I'm about to press the button, and we'll see who it brings up as a chatter. Let's have a look.
Here we go. So sit tight, everybody. Slammer's about to draw the name. So be sure to use exclamation mark claim if your name shows up. And Zervinx has been drawn for the giveaway. So if you're Zervinx in the chat, please make sure you use exclamation mark claim within the next 2 minutes to win the prize. Let's wait and see. He's got a couple of minutes, Slammer. Obviously,
he's got a couple of minutes, and we'll redraw it. I'm going to keep redrawing it until someone wins it. So we could be here for a long time if he's not in the chat.
Yeah, sit tight, folks. Obviously, I'm not sure whether he is here, to be honest. A lot of people are saying apparently he's not here. Zervinx is apparently not watching, apparently. So we'll wait and see. We'll allow the 2 minutes, I think, to rumble on. Let's not. I'm not sure whether it's true what people are saying, Mike.
He's got the clock, so the clock's on him. It is a fully randomised chat, or random pick. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep my eye on it, because the messages are flying through. If anyone knows him, then yeah, get him to jump on.
I don't think they want to tell him.
Let me get him. Let me get him.
Yeah, you know.
Lindsay's on
I know Zervinx. That's fine.
Clock's ticking, Lindsay. Clock's ticking.
It most certainly is. It'd be remiss of me not to congratulate Greg and his effort, I suppose, while we wait for Zervinx to hopefully get in and claim the prize. But it'd be remiss of me not to congratulate Greg on his performance. I know the work that he has put in. I know we sort of refer to them as the Veloce boys, and they work so bloody hard, it is not funny. Veloce or no Veloce, I think it's still going to be the same three people that'll be leading out, with some super performances from Campbell as well. I thought he was sensational throughout the whole series, and also Jack, I thought, was not quite where he normally is, but we know why. So yeah, just some of those performances through the whole series have been sensational. And the Master and the Apprentice, Greg being the Master, Oscar being the Apprentice, or the Master and the Engineer, I suppose you want to call it. Prince, as we all know him in the community, he has shown why he's regarded as one of the better guys around. If anyone is listening in and is associated to an F1 esport team, have a bloody chat to this guy, guys. Have a bloody chat to Oscar King, because we've seen it over the last 6 races that he can drive. He is in my opinion, 100 times better engineer than a driver, and that's bloody saying something. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that is it for Zervinks. He is out.
He's out, so we got to redraw
He's
again.
done. We've got to redraw. So
bad news for Zervings. Yeah,
sorry, mate. You snooze, you lose. We told you needed to be in the chat, so let's pick out the next one.
We'll have the next one now being drawn. If you're not here, Devastator 555 has been drawn for the giveaway. So if you're there, Devastator, make sure. Yes, he's in the chat. Devastator.
Ah, yes.
Exclamation mark claim. Have you claimed it, Devastator? We need to see it. Exclamation mark claim in order to get the prize. I think he's claimed it. His message is getting deleted by a moderator. So I'm not...
Yes. Oh, no, that's all right. You know what? There you go. Done.
Yeah.
Dusted.
Yeah.
I know he's there.
Yeah.
I actually know Devo quite well as well. So congratulations, Devo. Yeah, fantastic. So he takes home the rig. I'll be in contact with you after this, either today or tomorrow, mate. So congrats, mate. Well done.
Well, apparently, Slammer, he's a pad racer, so this might this might instigate him in getting a wheel now as well. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
It's funny. Devo was supposed to actually drive as a reserve. He was he put an application in and he was supposed to drive tonight, believe it or not, but he put a big piece of metal through his thumb and couldn't drive. Well, couldn't use his pad, I suppose, for lack of a better word. So now it makes sense. Yeah, congratulations to him. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Congratulations, Devastator, obviously tuning in and winning the prize. Massive congratulations to you on that. So that pretty much concludes it. Lindsay, obviously we've just witnessed a fantastic series come to an end. Obviously congratulations going to Gregory Przyzybl on claiming the race fixture, along with that the championship as well. I cannot believe that it's finally come to this point now. We're in December, Christmas just around the corner. Obviously some final thoughts from yourself, Lindsay.
Oh, mate, what a season it was, and it's only up from here. Gregory Przyzybl taking home the championship, absolutely deserved it, but it came down to the last chicane of the last race. It couldn't get any tighter than that. Absolutely sensational stuff all season, and yeah, I'm sure that they couldn't be more proud as a driver, and Slammer couldn't be more proud hosting this event. It has been an honour to be in the comms box as well, so thank you for inviting me, Slammer, and thank you for having me, George. But yeah, what an event it was.
Lindsay, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in the commentary box with us as well. Thank you so much to all the commentators as well that have been part of this sensational event. And also, want to say a big thank you as well to Slammer myself for bringing me in. Of course, I've been part of done many OFI races in the past. Slammer, thank you for having me, first and foremost, and prior to us bringing this to an end. It's been an absolute privilege to be a part of it. And I look forward to seeing how the Oceanic regions grow in the times to come. But it has to be said, folks, also a massive thanks has to go out to you guys at home for tuning in to the broadcast time after time. We really appreciate your support. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, to leave a follow to the Oceania F1 Invitational channel. And also, don't forget to head across to social media. There is a Twitter page as well that you can get involved in. Just keep yourselves up to date with what goes on in the OFI, and there's also a Discord as well. If you are an Aussie racer, then you might want to get involved, so please ensure you take part. And also thank you to all the leagues that have also stood up and also almost amalgamated themselves within the OFI fold alike. It's truly been a huge pleasure being part of this and obviously watching it grow the way it has done. Obviously, if you've enjoyed the commentary, please don't hesitate to check us out either. You can find me at George Morgan TV on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also Blue Sky as well. It's all the same. Lindsay, where can they find you, sir?
I can be found on TikTok with, I believe it's at Lindsay F1, and you can also find me across Twitch as well. My handle there is also Lindsay F1, but I don't do any commentary there. But if you actually want to catch me commentating, once again, Rapid Racing League would probably be the place to watch.
Well, there you have it. That's where you can find Lindsay. But from us, folks, it has been a true privilege. Gregory Przyzybl went 3 times a race winner, much like Oscar King, but only one king could reign supreme. and it wasn't the king himself. It was Gregory Przyzybl. We'll see you next time, folks. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Goodbye.